In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside, only echoes of the self I hide. Born from ash, forged in shame, you can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Richmond. Tonight, the HPRL Truck Series, brought to you by Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, takes to the River City 250 laps around this historic track. And what an exciting night it's going to be. But before we dive into tonight's action, let's see what the first 7 weeks have yielded for our point standings heading in to this evening. As we look at the point standings, Jesse Sperling still with a pretty commanding lead, Michael. He's been pretty consistent. Only one win on the season, but he's pretty much held the top position so far this year.
Agreed. And when you come to points racing like we have here, it's not a win and you're into the playoffs. Point racing really plays into the strength of consistent finishes. You don't have to win every race or prioritize a win. A win is a great boost to the points, but if you can get consistent finishes within the top five, even the top three, it pays off so much more by having what we talked about, having those good days as opposed to chasing just great days. So obviously, great momentum there out of the 29, Jesse Sperling leading, and we obviously have a few more shuffling more towards that ever elusive cut line.
Ever elusive cut line indeed. One thing to note, 7 races so far this season, 6 different winners. Mickey Sendera, our only repeat winner. So a lot of action up front, a lot of moving and grooving. And Michael, like you said, it's all towards that playoff cut line. Right now, you'll want to stay above that yellow line. And look at that battle. A little bit of a gap, right? In between 12th and 13th, 8 points between Jerry McKinney and Taylor Locklear. But look at 1 point between McKinney and Wojcik. This is going to be exciting as we work through the remainder of the regular season.
Agreed. We kind of highlighted it last week. Locklear and McKinney were, I believe, only about 6 points separated from each other. Locklear able to kind of keep that truck clean, get a couple stage points there last week, and McKinney just unfortunately got caught in a little bit of that chaos that we saw. Ultimately, ended up spacing that gap just a little bit there, hurting him, but still plenty of time to go make up that ground here.
Plenty of time to make up that ground and excitement and fighting and battling. It sounds like short track racing. And probably the most important thing, Michael, is what does tonight's race look like as we shift from the point standings to looking ahead to this evening at Richmond? The River City 250, 250 laps, about 187 miles. Those stage break 55, 120, and then the long haul to the finish. We estimate fuel around 95 to 100 laps. There's a little bit guys can do to play with that throughout the run. So really shouldn't be a factor those first couple of stages, but definitely that final stage, as is HPRL tradition, there's going to be a stop somewhere. 40-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit road, but great weather here this evening as we get ready to dial up the River City 250. Michael, I know you were really excited to come to Richmond. What are you looking forward to the most tonight as these trucks get ready to take to the track?
Absolutely. Always love Richmond and the kind of racing it produces. We have our typical short track we always talk about. This one's a big, I like to think of it as a really wide turn short track. You're not really going to have multiple grooves. Obviously, you will have side by side action like we usually see here at the HPRL Truck Series. These guys trying to find that clean air, make their lanes. But the biggest and trickiest corner here at Richmond is out of turn four. We'll highlight once we get these trucks rolling here later tonight. We'll try to see if we can catch it. Maybe we may even get some action out of it. It's that turn four. When you come out of it, it's really easy to try to load it up. It's an odd angle the way the banking progresses up. When you exit the corner, you really want to get that power down, take it all the way up to the fence. And sometimes, if you get in a little early, you're going to go for a spin. You're going to go for a ride. We've seen it multiple times here at these short tracks. These guys get the rears of those trucks dancing around. So I expect to see that a lot more tonight. And maybe we may see some more bumper action on this single groove track.
Bumper action indeed. And I can tell you one thing about bumpers, they will start bumper to bumper at the beginning of the River City 250. Qualifying has wrapped up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our starting grid, and then we'll see if we can get a word with our pole sitter after that. Starting on pole this evening, the 20 of Caleb Sibbett. You may be used to seeing him in the 43. He switched to the 20 going forward. Outside, the 49 of Dominic Bettini. Starting inside of row number 2, the 5 of Derek Grigsby, and outside the 58 of Joshua Baker. Starting inside row number 3, the 62 of Joey Creech. And outside, we just talked about him below the cut line, the 93 of Bert Wojcik. Inside of row number 4, the 29, your current points leader, Jesse Sperling. And outside, the 12 of Chris Griffin. Starting inside row number 5, the 9 of Cody Pierce, making his second start this season. And outside, last year's champion, the 26 of Jared Mann.
Picking up at P11, we have the 51 of Patrick Schaefer, and to his outside will be the 74 of Brian Torrey. In P13, we find the 4 of Brett Vinson, and in P14, we have the 2 of Mickey Sundera, our only repeat winner. In P15, we have the 85 of Jason Baker, and in P16, the 1 of Taylor Locklear, just inside that cut line. P17, JD is race control. P18 will be the 46 of Justin Walters. P19, the 18 of Jared McKinney, and P20, the 98 of Thaddeus Friel. That is all we have tonight.
19 trucks officially will take the green flag. That means the top 5 are eligible for stage points, Michael. So not the top 10 fighting for stage points, but the top 5 with 19 trucks on the starting grid this evening. It's going to make those battles just a little bit more intense because you have to work a little bit farther up to get those all important points. We're about a minute away from the trucks taking to the grid, where we'll try to grab our pole sitter at that time. But Michael, again, 19 trucks, 5 stage paying positions. Does that change your approach early, or are you going to be steadily working your way through just to work alongside what the track will give you?
I think it kind of depends. Like we kind of talked about last week, where are you at in your point standings, and honestly, where do you start at? Short track racing is really hard to get spots, especially when you're in a tight field. It's really not easy to get up there unless guys burn their stuff up, and we progressively see it week after week. These guys really do a great job of taking care of their stuff and managing their runs very well. We talk about the first stage being kind of that exploratory stage where you can kind of tinker with how that car is going to feel, how's it going to behave later throughout the evening. But I still think these guys, even when they're experimenting, do a great job of keeping the truck underneath them and taking care of that truck. So I really think if you're not within the top 10 here of this field, you may just have to go ahead and try to set up for that second stage. It's just going to be so hard to get up and get into that top 5 for stage points with all these great drivers we consistently see week in and week out.
Definitely great drivers week in and week out, like you said, Michael, and it's going to be a strategy game. It's going to be a war of attrition. You have to push, but you have to be patient. It's also easy to get cautions here at Richmond, so there's a lot that you have to factor in. And again, you said it earlier, maybe, just maybe, we'll get to see a little bit of bumper action. But with that, we're going to see the trucks start to grid up. We're going to see if we can catch up with our Duna Electric pole winner here at Richmond for the 3rd time this season, Caleb Sibbett, starting on point. How's it feel, buddy?
Yes, sir. Feeling pretty good. Richmond's going to be a test for everybody's skills, not getting loose, of course, off a corner exit, but I think it'll be a fun one.
Fun one indeed. Just real quick, I'm going to turn it over to Michael because I think he has a question that everybody wants to hear a little bit more about.
Yeah, Caleb, obviously you got the best seat in the house to start off this race. We're kind of going to ask you a question. We kind of hinted a little bit earlier tonight, but why the number change from the 43 to the 20 here tonight?
Yeah, no, always been a huge fan of Tony Stewart. Y'all know how Tony races. He doesn't take anything from anybody. I'm going to try to be clean, be fast, but if it comes down to it, I'm going to have to give him a little bumper and let him know what I'm in this 20 Home Depot truck. Notice also I moved to the Chevy from the Toyota. Did that for my teammates, so we're all Chevy.
Awesome. Well, there you guys all heard it firsthand. Little Tony Stewart action. The trucks are rolling off the grid. Caleb, best of luck tonight.
Thank y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Duna Electric pole winner, Caleb Sibbett. Michael, little Tony Stewart returning to Richmond. Are you getting excited about this?
You know very well how much I love Tony Stewart and how much inspiration I, and I'm sure many other iRacers, draw that inspiration from. There's a line in the sand that you have to draw. I agree with that in any form of racing. There's a line. You have to set the line. You have to make statements whenever sometimes they have to be made. Obviously, Tony, one of the best at doing that. Nobody wanted to go mess with Smoke, and I don't think anybody's going to want to mess with that 20 car tonight.
We will see if there's smoke in the air after 250 laps here at Richmond. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Emil Duna, missing you here tonight. Can't wait to see you back next week. I'm sure you're going to enjoy every lap as we get ready to go green. Lisa shouting out Sperling already, and Greg Dyer shouting out Thaddeus Friel and Van Rocks. Speaking of Thaddeus Friel, you guys will notice there are a couple EOL penalties to start this evening. That's end of line for Baker and Friel. Friel, I believe, will also have a pass through to start the race, so you might see him drop back maybe even a lap down here early in the stages, and that's from activity last week. So just trying to clue you in. But right now, I want to clue you in that we're in the restart zone. The hammer's down, the green flag's out. We're racing at Richmond.
Here we go. Take the green. A long night ahead. Let's get it settled in. The 20 is going to take the field around the first time. You see Derek Grigsby, that Jolly Roger truck right behind him, the number 5. Mean trying to go fly his way ahead, go and make a move here. But as we head around turn 3 and 4 right here, the first lap will go to the 20 of Caleb Sibbett on the pole.
Caleb Sibbett leading that all-important first lap, getting the bonus point right up front and gaps the field right away. Pushing hard, wrapping the bottom side. You're going to see a lot of these guys try to gravitate to the bottom, just roll it through the corners. At some point in time, you're going to have to find room to pass. And right now, Caleb Sibbett says, nobody's going to pass me. I'm checked out. Great battle here as we watch on with Grigsby, Bettini, Joshua Baker, all in tow as we complete lap number 2.
Look a little bit further back here around P6. You find the 29 of Jesse Sperling and the 93 of Burt Wojcik. You see right there at the bottom of your screen, Thaddeus Friel did have his drive-through penalty serve. Oh, wreck right behind him! Chris Griffin involved. I believe the 51 of Schaefer as well.
Some early excitement here at Richmond. We'll get a look at the HPRL replay.
I think you just see Chris Griffin, the 12 there, get loose off of turn 2, trying to go push early here. We'll try to see if we can get a better view here. See the 2 of Sandera right behind them. Let's make sure there's no contact there. Nope, the 12 is trying to load up that right rear, gets it to break loose. Gets a little bit of the 2, and the 51's also going to have some right front damage. McKinney, I think, actually avoids any contact there. Great dodge there by Jerry McKinney, avoiding that wreck. He had a handful coming out of that corner. We'll watch his view here. Let's go watch ahead of him. You see the Taylor Locklear outside of him right there. Thaddeus Friel coming after his drive-through. So he just locks it down and hold on. Able to squeak through. We'll take one more look on Patrick Schaefer's onboard. Riding on board with the 51 of Patrick Schaefer here. You'll see the 12 just up ahead of this group. He's going to get loose. Patrick just not able to get that truck worked down in time. He gets a little bit of right front damage there.
So some early action here at Richmond. We'll see what transpires if guys are able to get it fixed up. Hopefully not having to use a fast repair early on, but if that's the only way to keep going, that's the way that you're going to go. And we already have some strategy calls, question mark?
Checking as we speak. Yes, Caleb Sibbett went down to pit road. I don't know, maybe for damage, but he has gone to pit road. He is a lap down. That's what I have. We'll see if it updates. I have Caleb Sibbett a lap down.
Well, it wouldn't be an exciting, interesting short track race if you didn't have some mixing and matching. That'll put Derek Grigsby on point here, Michael, and we'll see if Derek can do something with this clean air. Again, Caleb had jumped out to a big early start. I don't think there was a jumping the start penalty, but we will find out as we roll through here under caution. That should complete lap number 6, and we're on to lap number 7 as they start to double it back up.
Indeed, we'll have to try to look back, try to figure out what happened there. I don't quite know. Maybe he had a jump and start. We don't know, but that nonetheless, I was going to hand it over to the 5 of Derek Grigsby. We saw him kind of immediately have to play defense with all these guys behind him with Dominic Bettini, the 58 of Joshua Baker, and the 29 of Jesse Sperling, who's made his way all the way up to P4 now. Jesse Sperling having a great start off here, making up those spots that he didn't get in qualifying. Started P8 all the way up to P4 right now, so halfway through, he's going to go try to get a few more here as they come to green here, Troy.
Pace truck drops off. Derek Grigsby on the point, brings him into the restart zone. Waits till late in the zone. The green's out. We're back underway here at Richmond.
Grigsby's going to be able to clear there as they head into turn one. He's got the clean air now. Let's see if he's able to pull away like we saw Sibit do on that first run right here. You see the 49 go high. The 58 is going to take the line away there. The 58 up to P2 now. You see the 49 way down the line. I believe he's going to go pit now. Dominic Bettini on pit road. Maybe another penalty there. I'm not entirely sure, but that's another one who may have been bit by an early race penalty here, and that's what it's going to do. It's going to leave Grigsby to the front, move the 58 of Joshua Baker up to P2. That's a spot that Jesse Sperling doesn't have to worry about going to get as he tries to run these two ahead of him down.
Yeah, Bettini and Grigsby were very close side by side rolling to the end of that restart zone. Unfortunately, Bettini was a little bit ahead. It might have bit him. Luckily, it's early in the race. A lot of opportunities to make that up. But right now, Grigsby, Joshua Baker, Jesse Sperling, your top three out in front. You see Joshua Baker, he likes to run that high side, shading up a little bit. We always see him rip the top side around most tracks. He might be setting up to do the same thing here, Michael, as we come around to complete lap number 10.
Continue to march on here. You can see Dominic Bettini, I'm sorry, not Dominic Bettini, just ahead of these guys, who is now in throw of going a lap down. Had to catch myself there. You see Derek Grigsby rolling that bottom nice and smooth. The 58 trying to find a little bit of clean air, maybe trying to generate a run right behind these guys, though. Jared Mann looking to the inside. We have a caution.
Caution is out. Looks like we have the Ford truck rolling back there. We'll see what the replay shows.
For Brett Vincent involved here. We're going to ride along here with the Tampax machine. Let's see if we can catch what happens to him here. Let's see if he gets loose off this corner exit. Yep, there it goes. Oh, a little bit of wall contact there on the nose. Smash that in just a little bit. Able to get back rolling. Maybe have to go use a fast repair. I think he'll obviously go to the pits, go see how bad it was. We'll try to see if we can go ahead. We'll try to see if we can catch an onboard view. Let's see if we can catch his hands real quick. There we go. I'll watch his hands here and see when he almost tries to fight that truck when it breaks loose. You'll hear it. Yeah. Just trying not to overfeed that wheel to where when it bites, it sends him back up into the fence. Ultimately, just had to kind of ride the ship on down and had to go all the way there into that bottom wall.
Well, that puts us under our second caution here this evening, but Michael, I believe that's going to give Caleb Sibit the lucky dog, so I believe that will put Caleb back on the lead lap. And what a fortunate circumstance for Dominic Bettini. Served that penalty, stayed in front of the leaders, and stays on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely a big break, and also a big break for a couple. We saw Thaddeus Free also had to do his drive-through. He's able to stay on there, so a great break for a lot of these guys. We're kind of in that early trouble that we talked about, kind of a gimme, a get out of jail free card right there. So they'll happily take that. Still have 2 1 lap down right now. Maybe we have to see if it updates. I have the 2 of Sundara and the 85 of Jason Baker a lap down.
All right, we'll see how it all shakes out here. Want to give a shout out to Abby. Abby's watching live and in the chat. Good to see you as always, Abby. Everybody, feel free to interact with us. Short track racing provides a lot of opportunity to check in, to see who you're cheering on, what your thoughts are, what you're excited about. We'll also make sure to give out plenty of plugs to our sponsors later on this evening. But right now, we're going to double them back up. Derek Grigsby still on the point. Joshua Baker still outside P2. Jesse Sperling P3. Those 3 are going to be driving this along with Bert Wojcik in P4. Great start for the 93 truck. And again, we'll see what unfolds. A long way left to go. Again, lap 55 is stage 1. So we still are going to have 40 laps left, Michael, in this first stage before we get a break.
Agreed. You got to be careful. We've seen a couple of these guys probably use that fast repair already. You're not even a quarter into this race. You have to take that into account. You are going to change your driving style because of that. have to be careful, take care of those trucks as they head out of turn 4. They're going back green here. The River City 250. Grigsby gets the jump and clearing away he goes.
Clearing away, Grigsby with a great jump on the restart. Gets out in front of Joshua Baker. Joshua Baker tucks in line there in P2 again. Shaded just a little bit higher. And I think we're going to have another caution, Michael. Cautions breed cautions. Everybody's going to have some fun here as we see the 18 of Jerry McKinney turning his truck back around. We'll unpack this one more time.
Trying to ride on board with the 18 here. Let's try this again. I think he blinks. There we go. He's trying to disappear on me. Here we go. Off the restart. Going green here. You see the 18. You have the 74 of Brian Torrey to his outside. Oh, Torrey just comes down a little bit. The 18 catches them and gets them both loose. Oh, it's more contact between the 74 and the 18. A little bit of a ride there. Let's see if we can catch another view there. I can't tell if the 18 misses the entry a little bit, if the 74 turns in a little early, and also maybe a bit of both going for that real estate there in turn 1 on a restart, Troy.
Well, they say Virginia is for lovers. That's just a little kiss going into the corner. A little bit of that bumper-on-bumper action you were talking about pre-race, Michael. And the result is a caution at Richmond.
It is. You all can see a bunch of damage behind this. A couple guys get into the back of each other. That may actually bring out a little extra damage on some of these guys. We're going through fast repairs pretty quick if these guys are using them, Troy. I think that's definitely going to be a factor late in this race if these guys are having to use them this early.
Yeah, if we have fast repairs getting cashed in already, it's going to be some, shall we say, trucks with character making it to the finish line at the end. Want to give a shout out to Sharon also checking in, cheering on Caleb. Great to see you, Sharon, as always. Love all of you chiming in. But Michael, you know, a lot of action early, and this is one of those tracks, we talk about it with short tracks. You really want to find your groove. You want to find your momentum, and this can really make it difficult early on in the race to find that groove.
Agreed. Actually pulled up here on the timing tower to your left. You should have who has used a fast repair, or their only fast repair so far in this race. You can kind of look down the list. You see the first one who has the 62 of Joey Creech, the 51 of Patrick Schaefer, a couple of those involved in that first one. Caleb Sibbett has used his as well, so maybe we missed something with Caleb Sibbett, a little bit of contact. Still trying to figure out exactly what happened to him earlier in this race, but Caleb Sibbett has used his fast repair for the evening.
Well, that just makes it more exciting. We like to have exciting racing, and the HPRL Truck Series always finds ways to bring excitement into your living rooms and onto your screens. But now the excitement is that they're doubled back up. The lights are off on the pace truck, and they're rolling around turns 3 and 4. Derek Grigsby, Joshua Baker one more time, rolling into the restart zone, hammer down, go time, green flag racing at Richmond.
Back to green. You see the 5 once again get a great jump pull away, but look who's right behind the 29 as Jesse Sperling's been biding his time up to this field. He is now here. Mr. Consistent is always good with his tires. He's there, and right behind him, not too far behind, the 26 of Jared Mann trying to hunt down the 58 of Joshua Baker, but they're all chasing down the man up front in that Jolly Roger scheme, like I said before. The 5 of Derek Grigsby still your leader by about 3/10 right here as we roll around the complete lap 21 on 22.
Grigsby out in front, Sperling in tow, Joshua Baker tucked back in P3, and Jared Mann in P4. Burt Wojcik back to P5, like Michael said. Want to draw your attention just outside that, though. The 1, Taylor Locklear, currently running in P6, started 16th on the grid officially, up 10 spots officially on the grid. A heck of a start for Taylor Locklear. We'll see what unfolds the rest of the way. But right now, Grigsby out in front in the River City 250.
You see up here, Jesse Sperling starting to close in on the 5 of Derek Grigsby. He's getting ever so close. He's now down to 0.15 of a second. That's a 10th and a half all the way there. You see him lose a little bit here. Let's see if he tries to throttle up, try to get that run down the back stretch, try to gain momentum. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there from the 29. He's pushing it hard. But Joshua Baker is still right behind these guys, able to hold on. You see him trying to get a little bit of a, I wouldn't say so much say, but a diamond, to trying to roll that corner a little bit more, try to carry as much speed as he can on the exit to try to not let Jesse get away from him.
Don't want to let him get away. It can be hard to claw those positions back, and passing can be at a premium. As you see, Joey Creech, Taylor Locklear, Bert Wojcik, we got 3 of them. We're going to have some slicing and dicing, Michael. It's time to do some passing here at Richmond.
It is. They're going to start getting a little aggressive here, trying to start making moves. We're still early in this stage. We're at lap 25, just went on to 26. We're still going to 55, so you still have about 30 laps left in this stage. So tires, obviously, we've seen a couple guys go ahead and pit to get that out of the way here in this stage. Maybe just get a fresh set, get some damage fixed, maybe some more fuel to top it off. Fuel shouldn't be an issue, but it never hurts to have some extra to make that next pit stop a little bit shorter. It's kind of something you can cheat with sometimes if you get these cautions. Go ahead and top that tank off, because when you come at the end of the stage, you have a shorter pit stop because you don't need as much fuel. You see it in NASCAR at the Cup Series all the time. You hear about it. You know, these guys try to save fuel to make that pit stop a little bit shorter. You can do it here if it's able to get you enough time off pit road quicker. That could be a difference between a position or 2, and at the very end, that may be a difference between a win and a second place.
Making those stops a little bit shorter, making the distance to the front a little bit shorter. You just saw Joey Creech complete that pass on Bert Wojcik. As we look back through the field, we can see some more of the battles ramping up. Look at this, Michael, side by side action. You see the 4 of Brett Vincent, the 74 of Brian Torrey. Look at this. There we see Mickey Sandera behind them. Cody Pierce side by side through the corner. Caleb Sibbett trying to work his way back to the front. Oh, Vincent gets a little bit loose. Almost contact, but they keep it straight. We're still green at Richmond.
You got great battling going on back here between all of these guys. The 4 of Brett Vincent is a 74 of Brian Torrey underneath them. Close on that exit right there. No room to really get anywhere between them two right there. The 2 of Sandera clears the 9 of Cody Pierce, who's starting to run up on that high line. Maybe burned a little bit of that front tire off. Maybe he's trying to more work on that diamond technique, but he's definitely a little bit higher up in the groove. You see Caleb Sibbett right behind him, ready to make a pounce. A little bit further behind these guys, Jerry McKinney fighting with the 12 of Chris Griffin on the outside. You see him right there. He's going to try to get the run. Jason Baker behind these guys towards the rear end of this field. But all ahead of him, you still have side by side. Is now Sandera's looking underneath the 4 of Brett Vincent. Caleb Sibbett around the 9, up for 14th.
All of these battles happening just outside the top 10. You see Vincent go way high. Mickey Sandera should clear him there. And we go back up a little bit further in the pack. We see Bert Wojcik and Taylor Locklear. They're now going to be side by side. Wojcik on the high side, Locklear on the low side. Bettini in tow. Who's going to pull out victorious in this battle? Here we go through the corner. Wojcik way up high, almost 3 wide. Bettini had opportunity, but held back wisely, keeping it 2 wide in front of him. The high side started to gain some momentum in this battle, Michael.
It is. The high side starting to roll up on that corner, trying to get a diamond to get to run down the front stretch. What they're trying to do here. This starting to pack them up, though. Taylor Locklear and Bert Wojcik side by side is bringing the 49 and the 98 side by side. And Dominic Bettini, we saw him go a lap down, got back on the lead lap. He's going to start pushing harder. I think a little bit of wall contact there out of turn 2. He's going to start pushing. He's trying to get around these guys to try to get those spots back. He's made his way back up to P8. So inside the top 10, maybe trying to go get a little bit more ground, trying to go get that stage point we were talking about, Troy.
Got to get up to the top 5 to get a stage point here tonight with 19 trucks taking the green flag. Great battles here around the top 10, though. This is all happening behind this battle up front. You see Grigsby, now Sperling looking down low. Sperling had fallen back to almost 4/10 back. Now he's right there, Michael, ready to pounce on the leader.
We know Jesse Sperling very well, likes to take these runs very long, spaces them out perfectly almost every time. He has a very well understanding of when to push and when not to push. He's just had a great run so far this season, continuing to try to go put some more points in the bank and stretch that lead even further. As he's actually lost a little bit of ground there at the 5. The 5 is taking away that exit of clean air. It's starting to hurt just a little bit. You see him, he's having to settle onto the bottom to get the clean air as the 5 of Grigsby stays up on that higher groove on near that dotted line right there. So he's having dirty air, so he's having to get all the way to the bottom, not really able to use that middle / high line that we would like to say, just because he's not able to do it because that clean air would ship him up and get him out of shape.
Getting out of shape. This is shaping up to be a great battle. Grigsby had a 4/10 of a second lead. Sperling reeled them back in, got right back to the bumper, and now we're back to half a second in between them. It's a cat and mouse game up front, and Joshua Baker's watching it all, just biding his time. I want to make reference. We don't have to show you it, but Joey Creech has been running some of the fastest long run average speeds. He's about 2.5, almost 3 seconds now off the battle for the lead. So we'll see how it plays out in the long run. But Joey Creech showing good speed behind these top three.
Agreed. These three obviously have been all together so far for this race, continue to run well together. Joshua Baker still kind of in the window looking behind these two. Jesse Sperling continuing to experiment with line, continue to play around, see what kind of, well, we talk about always trying to play around, try to see what you can find for a later run in this race. Look a little bit further back around that top 10 mark. The 2 of Sundera, the 20 of Caleb Sibbett, now past the 74 of Brian Torrey. Caleb Sibbett up to P12. He's trying to get around Mickey Sundera, who's P11. Ahead of them by about a second is the 51 of Patrick Schaefer. So a good bit of gaps and a little bit of room between these little independent packs here, Troy.
A little bit of gaps. It's good for keeping the tires underneath you. Again, we're lap 40 going to 55. So these guys are starting to get a feel for how this stage is going to play out here in the last 15 and a half laps as we get a great view of Mickey Sundera rolling it off into the corner. Again, your only 2-time winner so far this season. Can he make it a third? Or will we have yet another new winner? But all of this is going to be decided a long ways from now as we go back to this side-by-side action.
Contact!
Oh, contact!
Contact!
Vincent,
Around!
Jerry McKinney!
Still green?
That
There's the
should
yellow.
Draw caution. I just want to call your attention real quick. You saw how fast that pace truck came up by Jerry McKinney. It doesn't hit you, but boy, will it wake you up real fast as we get ready to dial up this replay.
Gonna try to see if we can catch what happened here to the 18. We saw it on the camera. We're going to try to break it down a little bit more. You see he's starting to roll on that higher line, getting the good run off the corner. Hitching the 4, Brett Benson looking to the inside. I think Brett doesn't know that he's down there. If he is, he's trying to go make the block and actually ends up getting bumped by the 12. The 18 had to check up a little bit there from the forward contact, trying not to absolutely, to spin him around and dump him. Here we go, watch on here. The in-car cam of the 18 of Jerry McKinney. You'll see he has the run. He's going to go ahead and take that inside line. The Ford just comes down, gets loose, gets a little bit of contact on that wall, but all of that damage comes from right behind him when the 12 just lifts him up. You see right here just how fast the 12 of Chris Griffin's going to close here on the back of the 18. Just not able to get that thing checked up in time and punch the 18 ahead of him, and a little bit of contact there on the side.
A little bit of contact. Again, fighting for that all-important real estate. Great view of the replay to see that Tampax truck trying to plug the hole down low on the run from McKinney. Unfortunately, not clear, as we would say in the business, and the rest ensued from there. But as we roll under caution, you're going to see Grigsby out in front. This time, Sperling is going to get start side by side. Now, Michael, he usually likes to roll the bottom side. That's how he got up to P2 from that third starting position on the last restart. Do you think Jesse can push Derek here on the start, or do you think he's going to fall back in line to get back to the bottom?
Well, I think we've seen Derek. We continue to see the leader gets just such a great jump. It's really hard to time it up. Even with these guys, we talk about how great they are as drivers. It's so hard to time up when the leader's going to go in that restart zone. You can see just how big it is. It's about 2, maybe 3 truck lengths long. That's so much room for a leader to decide when he wants to go. And when you're on the outside where Jesse is in P2, you're kind of just at the will of trying to guess it best. If you want to go for a gamble and try to guess it, like I think we saw the 49 of Bettini do, you're going to get a black flag if you get ahead of them. You're going to have to go down pit road and do a drive-through. So you won't want to hurt yourself, so you're kind of at the mercy. But on that outside line, if he's able to hang with him, I think he's got a shot. Just because when you get the exit on that higher line, you're going to have the run down the backstretch. I think Jesse is very good when it comes to side-by-side battling, trying to get these guys to push a little bit more. Maybe they shouldn't. So we'll see. We'll have to see if he can get this jump here on the 5 of Derek Grigsby here in this restart.
We'll find out here in just a moment as the pace truck is off. They're into the restart zone. Grigsby waits till the end of the zone, goes, Sperling on his bumper, not side by side. He's going to tuck him behind. They're going to go nose to tail into turn number 1.
Ooh, watch Taylor Locklear right here. Drove away into the corner. You see Jesse Sperling's going to probably be under attack. Let's see if he's able to clear him back out. He is. The 5 gets away. The 1 of Locklear right behind, though. He's not going to let him get too far away. You see all of them going up to that higher line. Derek Grigsby likes to get the run down the front stretch. And what it does, he's kind of playing a little bit of defense. When he gets that higher run, he'll give up the entry because when he makes up on the exit, it doesn't allow Jesse Sperling to have the momentum to then dive him going into the next corner unless he just rolls hard on the brakes. Look at this gaggle of trucks behind these guys, though. 2 by 2. We have another caution out as soon as I say it.
Gaggling the caution flag. Got a couple trucks parked on the backstretch. That's not where their haulers are. That's not where their pits are. So we'll find out what drew them to that location in this replay.
74 of Brian Torrey and the 4 of Brett Vincent. I think he's going to get caught up in this one again as well. You see the 4 just get loose right there. The 74 gets bumped down there into the fence. Watch one more time. We'll try to catch the hands here of Brett Vincent. You see the 74 right there, that Deadpool truck. Drives it in there hard, trying to put all the power down in that corner. And it just steps out from underneath them. And this ultimately ends up getting the 74 turned down the hill and down there into the fence.
Well, how about we do it one more time? Let's restack them and see if we can make this sprint to the finish, as we're only going to have a handful of laps here as we see Jerry McKinney go around. He'll get caught back up. Grigsby and Sperling will do it again. Now, Michael, Jesse has a chance to redo this. He got a good feel on that side-by-side start from Grigsby. Grigsby's been pretty consistent with going late in the zone. Do you think he's going to stay with that, or do you expect him to mix it up here to keep Jesse on his toes as they double it up?
I expect to mix it up. When you keep continually do it at the end of the zone, it kind of makes it, I wouldn't say obvious, but it makes it easier to try to guess on when to go, because when you get to the end of the zone, you don't have any more room to wait or make you guess. You know at some point you have to go. Otherwise, iRacing is going to throw the green by itself, so then it's an even heat off the line. So I expect him to go a little bit earlier. If we're trying to think of the chess game, I always love being that number 1 spot on a restart. You get to have so much fun and kind of play in the head of the guy beside you. There's so many things you can tweak and do it differently. I would almost go middle. I never really like doing it towards the center or towards the beginning, just because these guys are already being super aggressive. So if you can kind of almost lull them to sleep about right there, right where you're about in the middle of the zone, where these guys are kind of thinking, okay, he's going to wait towards the end or later towards the end. That's where I feel like you get the best jump off of it. But obviously you have to continually change what you're doing to keep that guy outside of your guessing.
Nothing like a little guessing game in a 3,000-pound truck with your best friends inches off your bumper, hoping you're all on the same page. Unfortunately, we've always talked, hope is not a strategy, so we'll find out how it plays out here. Looks like the lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to go green, it looks like, on lap 52, so we'll have 4-lap shootout to the stage, if my math is correct, which is questionable, but it's going to be exciting nonetheless as the pace truck dips down to pit road. Grigsby, Sperling, side by side into the restart zone. Grigsby goes a little bit earlier this time, gets a good jump. Sperling in tow, but Locklear again going to push it hard down low as they head off into the corner.
I agree. Watch the 1 or 2 of Locklear here. Make sure it doesn't get any contact there. Driving hard. Able to get that truck. Able to hold that truck down to the bottom. A great corner there from the 1 of Locklear. Let's see if he tries to go up there and side draft a little bit of the 29. Look at the run the 58 got, giving Jesse actually a shove down the backstretch. The 29 machine. Joshua Baker pushing hard right there, trying to get Jesse Sperling ahead. Here comes Jared Mann up to P5 now. We have a battle here around that last stage point. These 4 side by side between all of them. The 1 of Locklear, the 29 of Sperling. Here comes the 58 on the outside. 3, 4 wide. Here we go. Hold on to it. The 26 dives underneath the 29. The 58 going to go back on that high groove again. Oh, contact. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Still green, continue to go on. We still got 2 laps to go here.
2 laps of excitement to go here in stage number 1. Grigsby out in front. Jared Mann behind that, Taylor Locklear. But we're going to watch this battle here around 4th, 5th, 6th for that final stage point. As you see, freeling around the top side. Here's the 98 truck coming there. And there we go. The caution is out.
Ooh, man. little bit of an exciting bit there towards the end of this first stage. We're only at the end of the first one.
Only the end of the first stage. Your top 5, it looks like Grigsby, Mann, Locklear, Friel, and Sperling. Sperling gets that last stage point. It appears like we're going to watch everybody get caught up behind the pace truck. And then we will see if we can get a word with our Vickers Auto Parts Stage 1 winner, Derek Grigsby, in just a moment. But this will give us a chance to talk about Vickers Auto Parts. Vickers is a business of Jesse Sperling's granddad, Bub Vickers, started up in the 50s. New and used parts for all makes and models. Priced as used, good as new. Located at 914 South Alabama Boulevard, Highway 221, Chesney, South Carolina, and they ship anywhere in the country. Call them at 864-461-2621. Vickers Auto Parts, your stage win sponsor. Well, Michael, a handful of cautions in that first stage, but we're already 55 laps into this 250-lap affair. It still clicked off pretty quick.
It is. That's one thing I do like about short tracks is how fast you really get to these stages. It really kind of plays with your head. You know, you think, oh, I got to stall it out. It feels like I have forever to go. And you look down, you only have about 8 laps left in the stage. So time goes by real fast here at short tracks. You have to be on point. You have to be on attack the entire time. As we saw the race off pit road right there, a little bit of a shake up within the standings, Troy. Excuse me.
A little bit of a shake-up, and things happen quick, so we're going to quickly see if we can grab our Vickers Auto Parts Stage 1 winner when they're going to get ready to double up here. Derek Grigsby, Stage 1 in the books. How's it feeling, sir?
Good. Yeah. I mean, that's not how you ever want to win them with what happened to Caleb there early on. That was unfortunate, but yeah, it still feels good to be able to get out there, especially on the old tires, and hold those guys off on fresh ones at the end.
Well, great run. We know you're going to get ready to go back green here really quick, so we don't want to keep you. Best of luck the rest of the way, sir.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Stage 1 winner, Derek Grigsby. All right, Michael. We clearly missed something really exciting with Caleb, but I guess that'll just draw the excitement here into stage number 2.
Indeed, it's definitely going to leave us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and he's brought himself back up to here. We're going to try to get up the timing tower one more time to try to see when these guys last pitted, because I believe the 26 of Jared Mann decided to stay out right there. So we'll try to see if we can catch it real quick before we go green here. You'll see right here on the left side of your screen the last lap these guys have pitted. So Mann, Creech, and Sibbett have all pitted last lap on lap 43. Everybody else on those fresh Goodyear Eagles. Also want to point out the 46 of Justin Walters is out of this race, Troy.
Justin Walters, unfortunately, out, and so is the pace truck as Creech ahead of Jared Mann as they get to the restart zone. Jared takes it to his advantage. Huge start. Contact off the restart. This is going to be a big one on the front stretch.
Oh, no. I think the 62 may have tried to go jump the start there, and it didn't end up panning out. We'll try to see if we can catch a replay real quick. A lot of trucks involved there. Oh, you saw just how far the 62 was ahead of the 26. We'll try to see if we can get you a better angle right here. You can see the 62 gets so far ahead. He has to be behind the 26, otherwise he's going to get a penalty. The 26 just takes his time and jumps without seeing the 62 that far ahead. The 62 just ultimately gets ran over. And a lot of chaos behind him, including the 20 of Caleb Sibbett. We saw him be able to get himself back up here into the top 5, and he's going to end up getting collected within this wreck as well. We'll catch his onboard next here. The 20 of Caleb Sibbett. Here we go, getting ready to come to green here. You see the 62 kind of throttles up and just ultimately leaves himself up ahead. He doesn't slow back down to get beside the 26. The 26 says, that's fine, I'm going to give you a penalty then. The 58 gets in the back of the 62, and around goes the 20 getting collected in that as well. And also a little bit of contact with the 51 of Patrick Schaefer. Let's catch one more view of him real quick before we go back. Let's see what he saw, maybe what he got out of that one right there. So you already see smoke in the air, just chokes it up. Oh, the 20 just comes down to the last second. Another one where Patrick Schaefer just can't seem to react fast enough to where he's not getting contact there on that right front.
Tough break for a handful of drivers on that restart. Short track, things happen fast. They can change just as quickly, and unfortunately, not always for the better. As you see Caleb Sibbett there sitting on pit road, the field's going to come around. Caleb beats the field off pit road, it looks like. We'll see if that holds. Should. And we'll see if he can get caught back up. But, Michael, you said there's a lot of shakeup on that pit cycle. Now there's a shakeup after the early caution to start stage number 2. That's going to put our stage 1 winner, Derek Grigsby, right there with our current leader, Jared Mann.
Agree. We saw those 3 guys up at the front ended up staying out. That's going to take away one of them, and it's going to open up the door for him to come up here and go put himself in a better position. Now, he will be on fresher tires than the 26, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how Jared's able to hang on with the 5 on his outside here. Obviously, the 5's going to be super aggressive, trying to go get that number 1 spot back and get back to controlling this race.
Speaking of the number 5, Derek Grigsby, Old Money Cards, checking in the chat as well, cheering on Derek to keep a strong run going, keep that momentum up. We'll see if he can keep that momentum rolling around that 26 truck on this restart. Row number 2, we'll see the 62 of Joey Creech and the 4 of Brett Vincent. Brett Vincent had an exciting night already, probably more than he hoped for an entire race. And we're only starting stage number 2, but we'll see if that excitement pays off in the long run as the pace truck dips back down. We're going to see if the field can keep it side by side into the restart zone. All looks good. Going late. There goes Jared Mann firing away. We're back under green.
Back to green. Jared Mann is going to take the field here going into turn 1. Derek Grigsby not far behind them, though. You see him continue to push hard, still side by side, all the way back behind these 2. We're going to watch this lead battle for a second before we go look back here with all this chaos. 3 wide right behind them. I lied. We're going to dip back here. 3 wide. Jesse Sperling all the way to the bottom. Has the 4 of Brett Vincent on his outside. You see the 62 of Creech continually getting stuck in the middle. Now he's going to throw a block on the 12 right there. What a block there. These guys still fighting hard. The 4 of Brett Vincent. Oh, Burt Wojcik, a little bit of wall contact trying to get to that quarter panel of the 29. The 29 back to the bottom where Jesse likes to be here so far. Down there on the bottom of that racetrack. You see behind him this chaos right behind these guys up ahead. Derek Grigsby still 3/10 off the leader, so you're not missing anything there yet. We're keeping an eye on it in case we catch it. Brett Vincent, though, he's got to watch out. These guys driving deep into that corner may have a little bit of surprise on his left rear quarter panel if these guys keep driving down hard. You see Burt Wojcik diving up into a slide job right there going into turn 3 and 4.
Wojcik with the slide job through the corner takes the position away from Brett Vincent. And now we see Dominic Bettini trying to work there. Mickey Sundera coming back on the high side. They're trying to dial up a move on the 4 truck. Brett Vincent trying to hang on, put himself up in that top spot on the restart. Doesn't want to fall back too far. A few scrapes on that truck. He might have a little bit of a handful. As you see, Bettini roping the bottom side, slides up in front of the 2 truck. He's going to try to make a move as they head down the straightaway.
Troy, you think we'd be at the Knoxville Nationals? I know it's right up your alley. We continue to see slide jobs and throwing it up in front of these guys, trying to cut it off that dirt, trying to throw dirty air and try to cut off the nose of these guys, trying to get that position as they dive here in these corners. Look how far the 4 dives in, actually a little bit too far. He goes up an extra groove right there. You see these guys are just throwing these trucks into the corners. This is going to kill those right front tires as we get later in this run. I'm curious to see how that fades them off, all of these guys back here, but aggressive moves all over the place.
Yeah, it feels great right now when you're early in the run, but what's that going to feel like in 50 laps when you're wrapping up this stage? We'll find out in a little while. As you see, looks like Sperling's got around Jared Mann. Jesse Sperling up to P2. Now going to try to chase down that 5 truck of Derek Grigsby. And Mann going to be under attack from Burt Wojcik. Wojcik way up high. Going to get the run. He's got the groove as they head down the straightaway. What's it going to be heading into the corner?
Great move there by Wojcik. Got a great run into the corner. Continue to go dig up onto that high line. Oop, had a little bit of a hiccup there. Comes back. There we go. We're good. Scared me a little bit there. Burt Wojcik running the high line. It's going to be great for these first few laps. You got to remember, though, it was going to eat off those right sides like we talked about. Jared Mann, we've seen him do this before, kind of fade on back a little bit, rolling on that tire efficient line. We'll see him. He's definitely going to be a factor, I think, later in this stage. So keep an eye on the 26 here as he's starting to give up a few spots to these guys that are taking up that high groove, including the 93, the 49, and the 2. Right behind them, the 4 and the 98 now side by side battling it out with Brian Torrey in the folds watching these guys. Ooh, a little bit of contact there from the 98 with the 4.
Side by side contact with the 4 and the 98. Now, remember, Jared Mann did not pit under the stage caution, so he's got to conserve those tires a little bit more than those guys that got freshies. So he might be giving up a little bit early to have the long run payoff, like you said, Michael. But right now, we've got a red crayon and a red crayon trying to melt it together as they go side by side. Vincent Friel through the corner, side by side. All this for P7.
Oh, you saw Brett Vincent get a little tight right there. I think that right front's starting to give out a little bit. He's having to really arc these corners and get that huge diamond just to try to hang on the door. The 98 has been running that bottom line, so the more efficient line that Thaddeus is running there. You see Thaddeus is officially clear there. The one of Locklear now looking underneath the 4. The 74 of Brian Torrey is trying to get down to the bottom side, but he can get around. I also want to bring out Troy, the 85 of Jason Baker. With all these cautions, he is back on the lead lap, so the 85 is alive and is back in the hunt here as they continue to watch on here. Taylor Locklear now underneath the 4. The 74 of Brian Torrey looking to be the next one under.
Brian Torrey now looking underneath the 4 of Brett Vincent. You saw Brett Vincent scrape the wall a little bit. You could see Jason Baker maybe bottled up with nowhere to go. Vincent into the wall one more time just for good measure. That gives Torrey a clearance. Now Baker looking to work underneath that Ford truck as they come out of the corner.
Jumping up to the third place here, the 93 of Burt Wojcik, the 49 of Dominic Bettini, doing the same thing side by side amongst each other. And ahead of them, Jesse Sperling is actually starting to reel in our leader, the 5 of Derek Grigsby. Still plenty of time left in this stage. You see Derek Grigsby continuing to run that higher line. The 29 of Jesse Sperling maybe side by side here as they head to turn 1.
Jesse Sperling tracking down the 5 truck of Derek Grigsby, almost like right on cue. Lori Vickers just shouted out Jesse Sperling, and here he is pushing for the lead, hard out of the corner, right on the bumper of Derek Grigsby as they head down the straightaway. He's going to peek to the inside, fall back in line, and wrap that bottom side one more time, Michael. He's going to try to get a run. Is he going to get enough? Nose to tail down the straightaway.
He keeps throwing little moves, trying to get Derek to look in his mirror and get him to react. Derek's done a great job so far keeping that truck there. He's still a little bit higher a groove than what I think he needs to be, but he may have already used it and not able to get that truck down there anymore anyways. Jesse Sperling, though, playing nice, but he's getting ever so close. You see him backing up a little bit. He's going to try to put all the power down on the exit here. He's trying to get to that inside quarter panel. That's when he will have that position pretty much secured. He's able to roll the bottom so much faster than the 5. You see right here just how much momentum. Now he's going to be side by side this time as they come off turn 2. Let's see if he's able to clear him here. They're going to turn 3, maybe side by side. The 5 with a run. Leaves the door open. Here comes the 29. Drives it deep down there on the bottom. Let's see if he's able to get side by side again at turn 4. The 5 clears. Derek Grigsby able to hold on for another lap.
Grigsby hanging on to that point position. Jesse Sperling roping that bottom side, doing everything he can to try to get to a quarter panel. He gets to run up high now. You saw Grigsby shut off that low line on exit. It gave Sperling a chance, but he didn't have enough to get there. Now he's going to size him up one more time. He's not going to have enough in this corner. He almost has to plan a corner ahead. Set him up in one, try to make the move in the next. Here he goes to the bottom side. This time Grigsby shades down a little bit. Is he going to pinch off the exit? He gives him room. Nose to tail one more time, headed down the straightaway.
It's a great battle to watch up here. You see the 5 of Derek Grigsby. He's done very well, so he's not letting Jesse really get the run he wants here out of turn 4. Jesse's probably making all of his time up in turns 1 and 2. Gets a little tight right there. The 5 taking away that clean air that Jesse wants. He's going to make him work for it here. You see he gets a little high there. And 1 and 2, Jesse's able to capitalize. Once we get to 3 and 4, they're kind of pretty similar. Maybe a little bit of dirty air, maybe because a little bit of a different corner here in 3 and 4. A little bit of a different bit of banking right there. Able to help the 5 get a better roll through right there. You see him take it all the way up to the fence, able to keep his spot away from 29, getting a dive going into turn 1.
I will be interested to see. Jesse Sperling makes up a lot of ground in 1 and 2, like you said, Michael. I wonder if he switches it up and follows Grigsby through 3 and 4. Just maintain the distance in 3 and 4. Don't make a move in 3 and 4, but try to shorten up that gap, and you're stronger in 1 and 2. Size him up there. Don't make the move here. Get ready. He's closer this time. You see him. He's on the bumper. He's going to shade down maybe a little bit too soon. Gives up a little bit, and he's going to have to ease it into this entry. It's almost like I said. You're going to have to size him up in 3 and 4, make the move in 1 and 2. We'll see what he can do this time. Meanwhile, Mickey Sundera is up to P3 behind all this, and Burt Wojcik in P4.
Not too far behind these guys, about a second right now. These two right here have checked out. These guys continue to battle. Don't want to hop away and then miss these two. We're going to try to catch a little bit of the action away. We'll keep an eye on this battle between these two, though, as it does never seems to end with these guys. They continue to duke it out. Looking right behind him, though, the two of Sandera's gotten around the two of Sandera's gotten around the 93 of Burt Wojcik, who's now under attack from the 49 of Dominic Bettini. We've seen these three continue to run around each other for all of this stage, so continue to have nobody really make any huge moves. Looking behind them, Jared Mann, P6, has made up a couple spots back, and behind him, the 85 of Jason Baker, who's come from P11 last time we said his name, now up to P7. So a Baker brother is on the move up to the front, Troy.
Baker brother on the move to the front. But again, that battle up front between Grigsby and Sperling right now. Up front, about a second half. Mickey Sendera is starting to cut into the lead of those two. But right now, we're going to watch some of these guys that maybe settle out and are fighting their way through. Here's Brett Vincent and the 18 of Jerry McKinney. There's something about red trucks side by side tonight that just gets the heart up pumping as they fire it off into the corner. Here we go. Vincent washes up. McKinney washes up as well, but he's clear. What's it going to look like coming off the corner? Everybody plays nice this lap.
Looking behind here in P16, you find the 20 of Caleb Sibbett. I think he's got that truck maybe fixed up all the way. Obviously hard to get the points back, but he is still on the lead lap, still alive back there. The Joshua Baker is one lap down. The 58 is a lap down. The 62 of Joey Creech, last car on the lead lap right here. You see him kind of cruising all by himself here. And actually, as we look up towards the front, you see on the ticker at the bottom of the screen, Derek Grigsby's pulling away from Jesse Sperling. I wonder if Jesse Sperling maybe got a little bit of damage. We'll try to see if we can catch an eye here real quick before we go back looking around through the field. You see him close a little bit back there, maybe trying to cool those tires off, trying to give himself a better shot to go push a little bit later here. But behind these guys, the 93 and the 49 continue to battle it out here between Burt Wojcik and Dominic Bettini.
Great battle here in the 4th and 5th position. And you can see now Jason Baker chilling out behind them. He's going to try to rope them in. He's had a long race penalty to start the race, had to fight his way through the field. But here we are on lap 91, 92 now. Baker trying to work his way inside the top 5. He ropes the bottom side. You see Bettini up high. There's Burt Wojcik. They may have company here in just a matter of a lap or two, Michael.
Yeah, you see the 85 closing on these guys so much. Jason Baker has done a great run to get up here into the top 10, looking to get his way up into the top 5. Behind him, the one of Taylor Locklear, who is still trying to get those stage points. I know we still got about 30 laps left in this stage, but it's never too early to go ahead and start thinking about it. Taylor wants those stage points, trying to build up that gap on McKinney there, right by that cut line. Is the 85 starting to look underneath the 49. He's right there. Jason Baker having a great job rolling the bottom of this track. I think the 49 and the 93 as well both took to that higher groove and hurt those tires. You can see that 85 gets settled and nestled in right there on the bottom and closes up a lot of ground on these guys.
Closing up a lot of ground, and I agree with Old Money Cards in chat. There's a lot of great racing going on. We got some of those early cautions out of the way, and now we're seeing the full talent of the HPRL Truck Series on tap. And speaking on tap, a battle for the lead is due. Sperling, Grigsby, here we go.
We saw Jesse Sperling, I think, lose a little bit of time. I think he was cooling those tires off to come back here for our second surge. He's like a storm, Troy. He's like a hurricane. He goes back out. You think you're clear, and then he comes right back at you. He goes, cools off those tires, comes right back on the charge on the 5. But don't look now. Right behind him is his teammate, the 2 of Mickey Sendera, is starting to run these guys down. He's only 3/10 behind the 29 of Jesse Sperling. Jesse Sperling still not able to get past the 5. You see wiggle there. Whoa, big wiggle out of 29 out of turn 2. He's pushing that thing hard. He is tired of following this 5 truck around. We'll try to see if he's able to get the power down, maybe have a shot side by side here. The 5 will get that high run, able to continue to play that defense down the straightaway. Jesse Sperling just continuing to run him down, but not able to get around him, Troy.
Can't get around him yet, and now we're going to play a new game. It's going to be called Three's Company because Mickey Sendera is there. If Sperling doesn't go, Sendera might. They can't bottle him up forever. 3 trucks, 0.3 of a second. This is what it's all about on Thursday nights. Grigsby down low. This time Sperling wrapping the high side all the way up to that top line. He gets the run off the corner. You see Grigsby wiggle, but he's still in front. A little bit of a gap back to Sendera. Sperling back to the high side. Sendera to the bottom side. Middle groove. Grigsby pushes up. Michael, this is going to be a good one.
We see these guys continue to flip-flop what they're doing. Here we go. Jesse Sperling's going to try to do a dive move here, I think. Oh, he is. The 5 on the high side where he likes to be. Jesse on the bottom where he wants to be. Let's see if he's able to hold on to it. Oh, he gets loose again. He just can't get staying on that quarter panel. Jesse Sperling is tired of doing this. Now they both went high on that one. Here comes the 2 of Mickey Sundero on the bottom. Keeps it off the door of his teammate. The 29 is now under attack. I think that's why we saw him get up on that higher line and start trying to push. He knew his teammate was coming. He knew he was going to be under attack here soon, and now they're going to be side by side. Teammate, the 29, the 2 going at it as the 5 of Grigsby looks at his mirror, says, thank you, tries to pull away whatever he can.
We see Sperling go way up high. It's probably going to give Sundero a good chance to get a run off the corner. Sundero's going to keep it down to not kill the momentum of his teammate as they go side by side down the straightaway. Grigsby out in front. He likes to see them side by side, but he's got to be sweating right now. He's got 2 teammates really hungry. Sperling way out of the gas on the high side. Leaves it for Sundero. Sundero's going to go try to chase down Grigsby now, and Sperling back to third. But here we go, Michael. Mano-y-mano. Lap 101. Coming to lap 102. Going to lap 120 for this stage. Sundero now chasing down Grigsby.
Yep, still got 18 laps to go in this stage. Still plenty of time to kind of piece that run together. So if you're the 2, you don't have to push it all the way yet. You still have time. But Troy, if you take a little look back here, look who's in P4 looking to try to make a move on the 29. It's Jesse Sperling.
Oh, something's cooking. There's a Baker up there. As we see the people getting loose out of the corner right behind Baker there. They keep it straight, but Baker up to P4. The battle back here, Burt Wojcik, Dominic Bettini, they seem to have found each other a lot tonight. They're pushing hard for this top 5. Again, top 5 get stage points right now. Wojcik has it, Bettini wants it, and right behind them, Taylor Locklear and Jared Mann trying to hunt him down. This is going to be a barn burner. Grigsby up front, couple tenths of a second over Sundero. We'll get back to that in a minute. Don't worry about that. Right now, this battle for the final stage point is heating up. There we go. Wojcik, Bettini up high. Locklear and Mann down low. We might be side by side before this is all said and done. It's just as we say that. Bettini underneath Wojcik. He's going to push up. There comes Locklear and Mann rolling the bottom side.
We've seen these two just not give an inch to each other. Great battling here between the 93 and the 49 of Bettini and Wojcik. These two just continue to go at it lap after lap after lap. The one of Locklear has got a mirror full of the 26 of Jared Mann behind him. He's trying to make up any ground he can, but these two right here have had a battle for 5th for pretty much this entire stage. It seems like we've been watching these two go at it with each other. You look down the bottom of your screen, Derek Grigsby holding a solid gap over the 2 of Mickey Sundero, actually stretching it out a little bit, up to 4 tenths for the 5 there. Mickey trying to get anything he can here as we're starting to get towards the winding down of stage 2.
Michael jump ahead. I think Baker might have just gone around Jesse Sperling for 3rd, and now we got action going into the corner behind Baker. Oh, a caution is out. Oh, Michael. Jesse Sperling's parked on the top side of the corner. What happened?
Let's go take a look and see if we can find out what happened to the 29 Jesse Sperling. Like you said, Troy, you saw the 85 get around him. I wonder if there's a little bit of contact between them two with Baker trying to go make his move. Oh, I think he had technical difficulties, Troy. I hear that motor sitting. Listen to the cockpit. Listen to it once he comes down this backstretch right here. I think he has a technical difficulty. I don't think it's network. I think he has a technical difficulty. You'll hear this thing sit on the RPMs. He did. You can hear it right there. I think his pedals may have stopped working because he locks down the brakes and locks down the throttle at the same time.
And the quick flip tells me that he probably towed to the pits from that position. So definitely an unfortunate circumstance for Jesse Sperling. We'll see if we can find out what took place. But Michael gives us a chance to reset. Lap 108. And now we got to decide. Do we pit early? Do we stay out? Going to be some interesting calls here.
We had quite a few dip down the pit road, Troy. If you actually look, we got the timing tower up on the screen of everybody who has pitted. Only the front 2 stayed out, the 2 of Sundero and the 4 of Brett Vincent. Everybody else opted for those thicker tires. And the first one off pit road, the 1 of Taylor Locklear is going to be the first one on fresh tires. The 5 of Derek Grigsby right behind him.
You know what? I think those top two, Michael, could probably use a little bit of support from our title sponsor here in season number 6. Jiffy Lube might be able to help these guys out. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, is proud to support grassroots racing and the sim racing community. We provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep our customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventative maintenance and vehicle care, we're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. We're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. And I think that last line, Michael, is the perfect segue to this front row. You have a field full of fresh tires behind you, and you're out front, rolling into the restart zone. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. Sandera, big jump, green flags out. Vincent drops down in tow. Let's watch freshies versus old tires in the last laps of stage number 2.
Huge jump there from the 2. That's what he needed to do, is get a great jump, and he sure enough did. The 2 a rocket there out of the restart zone, but he's going to be under immediate pressure. Look, it's going on behind these guys. A lot of action behind. Derek Grigsby, though, pushing hard on those fresh tires, trying to go get that spot back. I don't know if Big's going to have enough to block him off for 9 laps. Already to the inside. Here comes the 5. Derek Grigsby back to the point. It's not even a challenge. The 2 just has no tire left, and those sticker tires blowing away the 2 there. The 5 of Grigsby back up to the point. Behind the 2 now, the 49 Dominic Bettini. We have 3 wide going on back here, Troy. Look at this going on behind them.
Rush hour traffic in Richmond. Oh, boy. 2, 3 wide, 3, 4, 5 deep as we go around the corner. All of this happening right around that final stage point. Dancing the back end. Tori coming out of the corner. Michael, I'm glad we're calling this and not behind the wheel, because, boy, is this intense.
This is a lot going on everywhere. This is absolutely horrifying, especially if you were Thaddeus Friel kind of in the mix of all that. You're able to see him get away. You see the 12 of Chris Griffin taking a huge run there on the top side. Going to try to get all the way down and maximize that bottom. The 12 of Chris Griffin gets a good run to the corner. That puts him up to P6. He's trying to go run down Thaddeus Friel for that last stage point. The 12 of Griffin looking for a stage point here. Trying to get some points, trying to make up some ground here in the standings. We still have 6 laps left to go here in this stage. Excuse me, caught myself there. But your leader, Derek Grigsby, is already a second ahead of Mickey Sandera there in P2. The 49 of Bettini is the next one. They're trying to get around him, but he's got the 93 once again of Burt Wojcik right beside these 2 going head-to-head with each other, trying to go find some more spots.
Bettini secures the position of P3. Now you see Burt Wojcik working underneath Mickey Sandera. He gets the run on the bottom side. Mickey just getting out of the way as you see Sandera. Oh, 3 wide again. Door to door slamming. Oh, let's go 4 wide. Let's have a little bit more fun. They think better of it. Friel on the bottom side, Griffin on the top side. All of this for that final stage point.
You saw Chris Griffin kind of get caught in the sandwich. He was trying to bump Thaddeus to let him know, hey, we can't do it. I'm 3 wide here. Thaddeus trying to maximize the run off the bottom of the corner right there. Thaddeus gives up the spot there to the 12, who gets that good run on the outside. Chris Griffin P4, Thaddeus Friel P5. The 74, Brian Torrey trying to go get that last stage point. He's going to push hard here with the 98 on his outside. But ahead is still a big gap ahead of our leaders. Dominic Bettini a second behind Grigsby. About 3/10 behind is Wojcik. And you have Chris Griffin. These 2 the closest battle right here. Brian Torrey almost got a little bit of contact there with the 98. Able to hold on to it, though. Thaddeus Friel still there in P5 at the last bit of this top 5 for stage points. Looking at the back of the field.
Caution is out.
Cody
We're
Pierce.
under caution. We'll get this dialed up. Chad, I know you're asking what happened to Jesse Springley. We don't have confirmation. It looks like technical difficulties. Last I checked, he's 9 laps down, as it looks like Cody Pierce just got loose out of the corner, Michael.
I think he did. Oh, it just loads it up, locks it down, trying to get it to not go towards that wall. It just seems to be a magnet. Watch it one more time there. Gets in the throttle. It's just so easy to break any car here. Obviously, we're in the trucks here tonight, but any vehicle here at Richmond, the way they have this bank, it is so easy to get these trucks upset off these corners, trying to load up that towards the run. A little bit of damage there for the 9 of Cody Pierce. I don't think it's going to be anything too detrimental. A little kiss on the wall, but obviously for good measure, you're going to go ahead and come down and make sure it's not anything too bad.
Yeah, chance to reset. We're also going to reset on the stage because lap 120 is our stage break, and that is where we should be right now. If everything holds and if I am accurate, which is questionable, I know at times, chat, you don't have to tell me that, I know. That would give the stage win to Derek Grigsby. So once we see them hit pit road, as we expect that they will here, completing lap 120, that should give the Vickers Auto Parts stage win once again to Derek Grigsby. While they're rolling around, and assuming this holds true, your top 5 would be Grigsby, Bettini, Griffin, Friel, and Torrey, if everything holds true. Also call out our lap down trucks right now. Sibbett, Joshua Baker, and Creech, all 1 lap down. Jesse Sperling, 13 laps down. And Justin Walters, as Michael mentioned earlier, dropped out 106 laps down, retired early this evening. So we'll see here if everything shakes out and holds steady. Looks like they're doubling back up, so we won't get a chance to talk to Derek right now. We will try to catch him a little bit later if we get a chance. Otherwise, you got to hear from him in stage 1. Michael, I think we're starting stage 3. Are you ready to do this for 130 more laps, 129 more laps?
Well, we're going to see if we save the script we've had so far, which is aggressive racing. And if we get a caution, it's only going to breed some more. So we'll see what we're going to get. So much action to unfold here in the first one. I can't wait to see what we have in the second half here.
Well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hold the green flag up high. The trucks are going to hit the restart zone. Grigsby's going to hit the gas pedal, and we're going to go back racing here at Richmond.
Back to green. Derek Grigsby once again leading the field here to start the stage. The 5 clearing the way in turns 1 and 2. You see the 12 of Chris Griffin pushing hard. We haven't really seen him up front a lot here so far this season, so a fresh face up here at the front. The 12 of Chris Griffin looking to make a good point stay out of this. The 49 Dominic Bettini, the 74 Brian Torrey. You see Thaddeus Friel kind of get momentum. Brian Torrey maybe looking 3 wide here. Keep an eye out for this. Is Brian Torrey to the bottom. Cautions out.
Cautions out. You guys are 3 wide. Cautions out. Keep it clean. See Joey Creech rolling away. We'll get a replay on that. Michael, there's nothing worse than when you're on a restart, just getting all your momentum wrapped up. The caution comes out. You're 3 wide. You got to figure out how to slow it down and not run into each other.
It's another aspect that's really just so hard to. Oh, we saw Locklear way up in the wall there. We'll have to go look at his view next. Oh, the 62 thought it was clear. I think we had a spotter tell him he was clear. It just wasn't clear enough. Goes off the nose of the 20. Over here is trying to get the run off. Just gets caught up right there beside the 20. I want to go look there. I saw Taylor Locklear sitting up by the wall. I'm trying to see what happened to Taylor here. Oh, a little bit of assistance there off the nose of the 4. Oh, he blew the motor. That's going to be I think that's going to be the night for the 1 right there. He has no power right there. You heard it blow. Just gets shunted in there off the nose of the 4, Brett Benson. Maybe he thought he was going to break later. Oh no, I think he thought he was going to carry more momentum in and just ended up pile driving the 1 there into the fence.
And then we get the aftermath. If you noticed at the end of that, Michael, the other wreck happened actually after that one. So a little bit of a power boost going into the corner, question mark. But everybody will take a deep breath. We'll reset. I will just give you guys a couple updates. Jesse Sperling has disconnected, so whatever the issues that Jesse was having were indeed appear to have ended his night. It also looks like after that last incident that Joey Creech, the 62, has disconnected. So a little bit of a war of attrition here just past halfway, Michael.
It's a battle of the fittest, or survival of the fittest, excuse me, if I can get phrases right, I'm going to say one. But absolute chaos. We talked about at the beginning of this race, these guys using a lot of fast repairs early in this race. we still have plenty of race to go, and I really don't know how many haven't used it. We'll try to see if maybe we can get a timing tower up and try to let us know about that. But we've seen these guys getting so many, just not so much race ending accidents, but damage to where it'll affect how that truck's going to drive, Troy.
We will see how it affects the drivability here to the finish line. Looks like right now we have 14 trucks on the lead lap. We'll obviously confirm, as we know some guys have hit pit road. I believe Caleb Sibbett was in line for the lucky dog, but he was caught up in that incident, so he did not get that. Looks like Joshua Baker has now got a lap down, so now 13 trucks on the lead lap. And Michael, like you said, you can see those faster pairs. There's a lot of ones stacking up on that screen.
Indeed, and like I said, we're just past the halfway point of this race. Still have plenty of action left to deal with, left to unfold with. These guys are going to have to start tiptoeing around this track, and I think we're maybe start seeing some tempers flare if we get some bumpers starting to get activated here in this race, especially with guys not able to go fix up any kind of accidents that occur.
We're about to find out how it's going to play out because they're in the restart zone. Grigsby, Griffin side by side. Grigsby fires away. Griffin dances a little bit. We're back racing.
Back to green here. Once again, the 5 gets away clear and free behind them. It's a free-for-all, trying to figure out where you fit. The 12 actually able to jump great there with the 5. Able to stay right behind them there. 1 and 2 starting to pull away behind them. The 98 of Thaddeus Free on the outside of the 74. Brian Torrey. You see Burt Wojcik, Jason Baker, and Mickey Sandera back up here, trying to go ahead and make his charge back up towards the front of this pack. Thaddeus Free on the outside of the 74, looking for P3 right here. These two continue to battle hard. We watch on here. You see behind the 85 of Jason Baker. Ooh, a little bit of contact there, the 74. Here comes the 85, looking aggressive underneath now. Get ready for this. 74 way overdrive, start going way on up there. Oh boy, hold on. Let's see what we get out of this corner. Clear, able to be free. Thaddeus Free up to P3. Jason Baker right behind him now. Jason's going to start pushing hard, trying to go close up that gap, trying to get back up there in the top 3. Brian Torrey, Burt Wojcik both running that higher line, trying to get the run to hold on. The 2 of Sandera is going to try to follow the 85 through here, as this little group's going to try to get sorted out, try to get single file, try to start getting back into saving those tires, Troy. And as we know, at some point in the stage, we're going to have to come see a pit stop unless we have another caution field stage.
We're going to see pit road at some point in time. If it's under green or under caution, TBD. Oh, Baker, Friel, in the wall. Oh, Torrey into it. Big wreck inside our top 5.
Oh, a huge wreck right there. The 85 getting caught up in that. Running on board here with the 85. You see the 98 of Thaddeus Free to his outside. Oh, I think Thaddeus maybe got a little bit loose out of that corner. We're going to catch, see if we can catch the onboard of the 98 here. Let's take a listen here as we go into turns 1 and 2. Let's see if he loses it. I can't tell if he was trying to pinch him or if he got it loose. Really wasn't really able to hear the tires break loose here. Let's watch off the back here, the 98. We're gonna try to see who else was collected in this as well besides these two. A couple trucks collected out of that. It looks like he gets loose there, Troy. I mean, what do you see? What do you think out of that one?
Yeah, it's really tough. You see the 85 start to come up on exit, but it doesn't look like he went all the way to the top lane. Hard to tell. You know, Friel was running that high side. It didn't look like a normal getting loose, Michael. Like, it did not look like he was, you know, kicking it sideways. As you see here, the 9 truck of Cody Pierce. Oh, just getting Baker coming back down the track. So close to getting around it. Maybe if we take a look from actually Mickey Sandera. Mickey Sandera probably had a really good view of what was going on in front of him. Yeah, it looks really tough. If you watch here from the cockpit, you're going to see coming around the corner, watch the 98's above that white line, above the white line, maybe just dips down below that white line at the same time the 85's coming up. Really tough to see that. Oh, contact and hard hit on the wall. Ooh.
Rick Vincent also involved here. We're going to ride on him. Make sure we didn't miss anybody else who was collected in this one. Brad Vincent actually gets loose on his own. Goes down there and gets a little bit of damage. Make sure we didn't miss anyone else involved. Let's make sure Patrick Schaefer didn't get anything out of this ordeal here. Oh, and scrub there on the 20, but he's able to keep it moving.
All right, it looks like we are doubling back up, so we should be getting ready to go back to green. I can also announce Jesse Sperling has reconnected. I don't know if we're going to see Jesse back on track or not, but he has reconnected, so we'll see if he can log a few laps to maybe minimize that points lead damage that he has currently going on. But right now, Grigsby, Griffin, back up front again. We're going to rewind it and play it again. Green flag, Grigsby, Griffin, Sandera. Here we go.
You know who it is back in front of this field again another time. The 5 clearing away. You see the 12 way up the racetrack there, trying to get the run. Maybe got a little overdrove into that corner. Opens the door for the 2 of Mickey Sandera to go through the window. Chris Griffin now under attack. The 93 underneath him. Burt Wojcik looking through. Here comes the 18 of Jerry McKinney. Jerry McKinney, haven't said his name up here in the top 5 tonight. He's one of those that had continually gotten caught in a few little bumps and bruises up here towards the front, but he's starting to capitalize. He's up into the top 10, looking to try to get his way up into the top 5. The 93 of Burt Wojcik, the 49 of Dominic Bettini. These two are inseparable from the two of them, but they got to get around the 12 of Chris Griffin. They're going to have a shot to get back at each other again.
Speaking of getting back at each other again, Sandera trying to put the pressure on Grigsby for the lead up there. You can see it going on. Keep in mind, Mickey Sandera is second in points. Right now with Jesse Sperling having issues, this is a great opportunity for Sandera to gain some ground, and he's trying to gain the lead right now. Grab a bottle, don't leave your seat. We're going to duke this one out for the next 110 laps here at Richmond.
Still plenty of time left for this race to get in trouble and to make some moves, but right now the move is all about the 2 working underneath the 5 here. We saw his teammate Jesse Sperling have trouble having trouble trying to get around the 5 here on the bottom of the racetrack. I think actually Mickey's doing a little bit of a better job, maybe using a little bit more tire than Jesse was, but these two are going to battle hard amongst each other right behind them. The 43 and the 93 going right back at it, Troy, for P3. Burt Wojcik, Dominic Bettini, 4th and 3rd as they get around Chris Griffin, but all the attention, the 2 may clear here. I think he will. The 2 to the point clears the 5 of Jared Grigsby. New leader, the 2 of Mickey Sandera.
Mickey Sandera on the point of that 2 truck. The 5 of Derek Grigsby now in tow. He's going to play the chaser. And like Michael said, the Bettini-Wojcik sandwich continues to roll along. P3, P4, side by side. Now they tuck in single file. Chris Griffin settle in for P5. And Red Truck, E-Red Truck, once again, seems to be battling behind there. We can't get rid of it. Vincent and McKinney this time of the Red Trucks. And Jared Mann, he's sitting back there watching all this. Look at this. Oh, Tori slides it out of the corner.
Ryan Torrey let it all hang out of that one, able to hold on to it. Good save there from the 74. Brian Torrey trying to put all the power down, trying to make a move on the very bottom of the racetrack as all these guys kind of coasted up in the middle of the corner. Brett Vincent under attack. Here comes the 85 and Jason Baker back on the hunt again. We saw him have a little bit of trouble there with him in the 98. Back on the attack. Use that fast repair because that truck all fixed up. He's back on the move and back on the charge. Looking underneath the 18 of Jerry McKinney here for P6.
Jason Baker probably has to be wondering, how many trucks do I have to pass tonight? The good news is still more than 100 laps to go. As you see him here working the high side, Chris Griffin slides up, cuts off the nose, almost like a Larson slide job at Knoxville. Baker looking down low underneath Griffin as they head off into the corner.
Jason Baker is having such a great run, able to take care of those tires. Look how clean and easy he is able to go underneath the 12 there on that bottom groove. We've seen him do it. Usually we see these Baker brothers usually try to take up that higher groove. We've seen the 85 be super duper good at able to keep that truck there on the bottom. He's been very, very meticulous when he goes up trying to make a move on that higher groove. We've seen him work this bottom beautifully, just as we've seen a lot of these leaders do, especially ones that capitalize later in the run. You're on that tire conservation line on the bottom. It's gonna pay dividends. You don't really get too many caution heavy races. We have one a little bit earlier in this one tonight, but we may have started to weed them out. These guys losing their fast repairs, they may have to start driving more and more careful. So I expect a long run here in this stage, and I think the 85 is right now the best truck to do it, as we've seen him continue on that bottom line. But he still has a lot of fast trucks to pass, including the 5 and the 2, as he works underneath the 49 of Dominic Bettini for P3 now.
Here comes Baker underneath Bettini, side by side. Bettini's probably like, hey, you're not Burt Wojcik. You're not supposed to be next to me. I only have one guy that I've been battling. As Baker wraps the bottom side, Bettini up high. Now Baker sets his sights on the 5 truck of Derek Grigsby. And notice, Michael, over a second gap now out to Sendera. Sendera driving away from the rest of the pack. Baker pushing hard to get Grigsby.
Indeed, Mickey Sundera now 1.2, almost 1.3 ahead of this pack, but the 85 of Jason Baker is so fast right now. You see just how far he's closed in on the 5 of Derek Grigsby. Looking underneath of him now. They're going to be side by side here off of 2, and I think the 85 is going to roll that bottom to get around him nice and easy. Yes, he will. The 85 of Jason Baker around the 5 of Derek Grigsby up to P2. He's got one truck to go chase down now. Let's see if he starts making up ground here on the 2 of Mickey Sundera.
Jason Baker with nothing between him and the leader. Now we'll find out who has the tires, who has the strategy. Baker, Sundera, the top 2. Grigsby doesn't want to let it go. He's trying to hang on. But Michael, remember, we still are probably going to have some pit stops yet to take place. So this is not over. Races can be won and lost on pit road as well. So we'll watch this unfold in front of us under green, but then we'll watch for those pit cycles as we go back farther in the field and watch Griffin and Torrey.
Watching on here, the 12 of Chris Griffin, the 74 of Brian Torrey. They continue to battle it out, trying to see if we can maybe catch any action anywhere else along the racetrack, trying to see what's going on. Obviously, quite a few trucks a lap down. We're going to go a little bit further back here around P11. Once again, red trucks hanging around each other. The 98 of Thaddeus Friel, the 4 of Brett Vinson, the 1 of Taylor Locklear. Back here in P14, he's 3 laps down. The 51 of Patrick Schaefer is the last truck on the lead lap. So, saw him disappear there for a second. So Locklear is not in poor position. He's trying to go work, trying to log laps, trying to get a few laps back and be able to get back to the leaders. The 4 is trying to chase down the 98 of Thaddeus Friel. Other than that, everybody kind of single file hanging around up here. You see the 49 of Dominic Bettini trying to close in on the 5 behind him. These 2 we keep talking about, the 49, the 93 of Burt Wojcik still hanging around back there. You see the 74 of Brian Torrey starting to reel in the 12 of Chris Griffin.
See all these battles settling out a little bit. Also want to draw your attention, you did see in one of the shots, you could see Jesse Sperling back out there rolling around. Jesse Sperling 28 laps down, but this is why it's important to stay out there as long as you can. He's already gained a position for passing Joey Creech. Joey Creech disconnected, now 30 laps down, so that was another spot that Jesse Sperling gained. Also, it looks like Cody Pierce's night has come to an end, 20 laps down. So, Michael, another spot that Jesse Sperling can gain. So, while not exciting to roll around back here, it's very important when you look at the point standings to gain every position you possibly can. So, kudos to Jesse Sperling for fixing whatever the issue was and to get back on track to gain some more points.
Indeed, it's definitely not the night the 29 wanted to have. Jesse Sperling had a great run going on there, but like you said, you have to get something out of tonight. You have to not lose. If you can stop the bleeding any bit, you want to, and that's what he's doing out here. He's hoping that these guys probably start getting back to a little bit of a demolition derby and knock some more out here with so many laps left to go. That's going to give him plenty of time to go gain more spots. And like you said, Troy, he's getting close to catching the 9 of Cody Pierce, who has left us. He is 23 laps down. Jesse Sperling is 28 laps down. So only a few clicks around, and we'll see him be able to make that pass. And as we said that, Troy, I believe the 4 of Brett Vinson has also called it a night, so that may be another one for Jesse Sperling to go grab here.
Absolutely. We're showing that Brett Vinson, the 4 truck, is disconnected as well. So, again, that's going to be 3 spots that Jesse Sperling can potentially pick up if he keeps it straight and just clicking off laps. But now, here we go. Back up front. We asked if Baker had anything. Here's the answer. Jason Baker, Mickey Sundera leading on one another as they come out of the corner, heading down the straightaway. Mickey trying to fight with everything he can. I think Baker may have got fresh tires, maybe used a fast repair after that last wreck. We'll have to double check. But Jason Baker now on point. Sundera battling back hard. He's going to stay there to the outside. He's not giving it up yet.
Not done yet. 85 continuing to roll that bottom nice and clean. He will clear the 2 right here. So we're going to continue to watch on, make sure these guys keep it clean between the 2 of them.
Keeping it clean as they're battling. Such good racing. Give it up. Try to take it back. Don't want to roll over. If nothing else, Michael, try to keep it close when it comes to the pit stops. You don't want a big gap. So now These two well checked out from Derek Grigsby. What's the strategy call? Now we're getting inside the pit window. 90 laps to go. They could make it from here. What is their strategy? Split it in half, go long, run short. It's all going to play out. Maybe pray for a caution. Hope is not a strategy, but maybe you're hoping a caution saves you so you don't have to make that green flag stop.
Agree. We always talk about hope is not a strategy. You don't ever want to have your night come down to I hope this happens. I hope we get this lucky break. Because more often than not, you're probably not going to get it. You have to have something tangible. You have to have something that you can plan out accordingly, and you have to stick to it. But sometimes you can make adjustments. I know I'm going against my words right there, but sometimes you have to make an adjustment on the fly. For example, if two of Mickey Sendera's idea is to be the first one on pit road, if the 85 beats him down the pit road, then he needs to change on what lap he's thinking about going in. He cannot lose ground or time on the 85, so he'll have to immediately change his plan and go off the leader. It's a very, very reactionary system here, so we'll see maybe one of these guys maybe towards the top into the top 10, maybe out of the top 5, be one of the first ones to pit road to go try to capitalize, and that's ultimately going to end up dragging in these leaders because they don't want to give up that time to those guys on fresh tires.
A lot to think about when you're ripping off laps here at Richmond, and the laps happen quickly. Here we see now Bettini, Grigsby, a battle for P3. Bettini trying to get to Derek. Derek trying to hold him off, maybe trying to gap him a little bit. We'll keep an eye on the lead. Don't worry, no battle going out there right now. We want to watch some of these battles deeper in the field. And by deep, I mean P3, Michael, as we see Bettini now underneath Grigsby as they head off into the corner, drives it in there hard.
Yeah, we've seen Dominic Bettini have a great night tonight. He really likes Richmond. He's able to run well here. A little loose off the corner there, lost the ground that he had worked so hard to get there. He's still 49 is going to have to go back to work here, trying to get back underneath the 5 of Derek Grigsby up at the front. The gap 2/10. We'll see if we can maybe get the ticker up for you, but Jason Baker still your leader. These two continue to battle side by side. Behind them, 2 seconds back, is the 93 and the 74 of Brian Torrey battling each other. You see the 12 of Chris Griffin has faded back there to P7. We saw him restart near the front earlier in this stage. Lost a little bit of ground, but still holding strong back there.
Brian Torrey and Burr Wojcik here battling, like Michael just said. Chris Griffin right behind Brian Torrey. And then we look back, Joshua Baker closing in. Joshua Baker, strong run last time they were at Richmond, which was in season 4. Joshua Baker actually led the most laps in that race. He led 98 laps last time they were here. Tonight, fighting in the back half of the top 10, seeing if he can make up some ground. But this great battle going on right now. The 74, Brian Torrey currently sitting P6, Chris Griffin in 7th. Here they go, all this behind Burt Wojcik right in front of them. This is the closest battle as far as the biggest group of trucks on the track as we run right now.
Yep, not a lot going on around the track. We're trying to see if we can catch anything for you other than that. Mostly single file all the way around. These guys put on a great show here, keeping it clean as we get towards the later bit of this latter part of this race. They all know that that pit stop is inevitably coming, and I think everybody's trying to start settling in and have an idea of when they're going to take it. You see the 58 and the 12 battling here for P7, the Joshua Baker, the 12 of Chris Griffin. Right behind them, the 18 of Jerry McKinney, and Jared Mann sitting back there in P10, Troy. Kind of hanging around back there. We haven't really seen him try to go make that push back up towards the front. Interesting to see maybe when these guys are going to end up making their stops.
Speaking of stops, it looks like Thaddeus Friel is now 1 lap down. I'm not sure if he hit pit road or if he went a lap down. I was going to go back to him and Patrick Schaefer because they were both at the end. Looks like Thaddeus Friel is now 2 laps down, so he probably hit pit road.
He has.
Not sure if that's damage or if he's trying to be an early stop. We'll see how that pans out. So again, Friel and Schaefer now joining the trucks lap down that push. Jared Mann, who you just talked about, Michael, in P10 as the last truck on the lead lap as we run.
Yes, so I am going to confirm Thaddeus Friel did go make a pit stop. Now, whether it was for damage or whether it was for his scheduled stop, we do not know, but he did go to pit road. He is the freshest truck on tires. Still waiting to see if anybody else is going to try to go make that move here. We'll keep an eye out on it, but right now you see this battle forming right ahead of you. The 12 of Chris Griffin's getting a miracle, the 74, and now the 58's closed in on him too, so he's got 2 to worry about here.
2 to worry about. And I would be worrying if I just hit pit road and I knew that this battle was going on the track because, wow, Baker and Tori are close side by side. You get a good look at the ticker to see that the gap is 3 to 4 tenths of a second between Jason Baker and Mickey Sendera up front, so we'll keep an eye on that. But right now, this battle with Chris Griffin, Brian Torrey, and Joshua Baker, the tightest one on the track, as we're ripping around, about to complete lap 174 next time by the stripe, which means, Michael, will be about 75 laps left to go. It's going to be a barn burner, and if this stays green, strategy is going to be more important than it's been all night, as you see Baker now looking underneath Torrey into the corner.
Agree. We see these guys obviously get a bunch of cautions here towards the beginning of this race, and as we get towards the end here, you have to start shifting your mindset. These guys started this stage maybe thinking they're going to get the same thing, so a lot of these guys probably pushed hard at the start of the stage thinking they may need another short run situation, maybe get a caution, but it has been nothing but green through most of this stage, and obviously the longest stage of the race. So you kind of had to plan on that long run. Maybe some guys didn't quite execute on that patience that we talked about quite as well as they wanted to, but they still have that pit stop to try to go make up that ground, maybe make up that deficiency that they have on their strategy in driving this first half of the stage.
We just talked about Jared Mann being the last truck on the lead lap. He has now passed Jerry McKinney, so he's got Jerry McKinney as the last truck on the lead lap, and now you see Jared Mann starting to join the fray here, looking underneath Joshua Baker. Maybe he bided that time you were talking about, Michael, saved a little bit higher. He can make some moves here late in the run, or maybe the other guys are falling off. Nonetheless, Jared Mann trying to gain some more positions before those, what we expect to be final pit stops.
Still plenty of time here watching this battle continue to evolve. Jared Mann, I think, starting to use a little bit of that truck there that he's got. Try to maybe keep it interesting to see if he's able to go make a move. We're actually going to put the track map here on the bottom right of your screen. You kind of see where everybody is here as these strategies start to unfold. You'll see the 2 and the 85 going right there at a turn number 4. You'll see everybody else trying to chase him down. Is how big of a gap it is all the way back to the 49 and Dominic Bettini behind those guys. Jared Mann now looking underneath the 74. Brian Torrey. Yeah, I think he's going to start trying to push a little bit here, one by one. I think we're getting close to Jared Mann's pit stop. Usually when you start pushing a little bit, that's when you know you're going to put a fresh set on there. So maybe he's pushing a little bit, trying to get the last bit of life out of those tires before he dips down pit road.
Use up the last little bit of good you got left in him. That's what it looks like Jared Mann is pushing to do right now. He drives it a little bit deep, a little bit higher, diamonds it down. Can't get quite the run, but he's got good position on Torrey as they head off into turn 1. Jared Mann pushing underneath the 74. Brian Torrey, can he clear him through the corner? He's got a good run. He's got him clear. He's going to cut off the nose. Now he's got Joshua Baker in his sights.
It's just so hard to make up spots here late in these runs, because what happened is, as obviously we talk about taking care of your tires and having fresh tires, but at a certain point late in the run, even if you take care of them like we know Jared usually does, it's so hard to make up ground because you don't really have that huge advantage because of how hot the tires are. These tires build heat over time, and as you get later in these runs, especially on these super long runs where we're at 50, 60, maybe 70 laps on a set of tires, it kind of equalizes what we like to call level off. So, as opposed to having it to where you're just trying to maybe have that fresh tire off the start.
Straight up usage right now. Jared Mann's trying to use that bottom side to get around the lap trick of Patrick Schaefer. He does so with ease. Working again to chase down Joshua Baker. Joshua Baker, P7. Jared Mann, P8. You can see the ticker still up front. Jason Baker, Mickey Sundera. We haven't forgot about those two, but right now they got the field in check. They've got a good 3 seconds plus over the third place truck of Dominic Bettini. But right now, this battle for P7 is starting to heat up. Jared Mann continues to wrap that bottom side. Joshua Baker right in front of him. High side blocks off the run. He's going to go up high again. Jared is underneath him, but not enough. Michael, P7, the battle on the track.
The battle continues to unfold here. Jared Mann trying to get any bit of momentum he can. You can just see he's not able to make up the ground he wants to. Still maybe the only major battle we have around here. You can see the bottom of your screen. 85 of Jason Baker pulled away from the 2 there up to 7, 8 tenths between those two. We still have not had any takers yet on the pit road. Thaddeus Friel still the only one who's now been out on the set of tires for 16 laps. He is still 1 lap down in P12.
battling away. Again, our lap trucks currently Patrick Schaefer, Thaddeus Friel, both 1 lap down. Taylor Locklear 3 laps down, as well as Caleb Sibbett. Jesse Sperling has now gained another spot. So Brett Vinson dropping out. Jesse Sperling coming back, gained him another spot. So currently Jesse Sperling 28 laps down in P15. But here we go. Battle on the track. Chris Griffin side by side with Burt Wojcik. Burt Wojcik been loving that high side. Chris Griffin ripping the bottom side. And Jared Mann says that's 2 more I can put in my book because he's ahead of Joshua Baker.
These guys are pushing hard. We've seen Burt Wojcik have a great run tonight, continually up here in the top 5, along with the 49 and Dominic Bettini, 2 guys who really needed points to kind of vault themselves up in the standings. And these 2 showed up to play here at Richmond. We've seen great runs. The 12 is now looking underneath the 93. You see the 26 of Jared Mann. He's going to try to set up maybe a 2 for 1 here. He's trying to make up some spots, trying to put himself up in the top 5 here. Right now, P7. You see him right there on the bottom looking for it. 3 wide down the front stretch. Here we go. 26 thinks better. Fades behind the 12. The 12 goes to block going into the corner. He'll get ahead of the 93 of Burt Wojcik there. The 26 is going to try to follow suit. Not able yet. There we go. Side by side. The 26 underneath the 93. He'll try to dive it in here. Try to clear him. Going to get some dirty air off the back of the 12, though. Still side by side as they roll off turn 4 here.
Side by side, you see Jared Mann and Burt Wojcik. Mann with the position now up to P5, trying to chase down Chris Griffin in P4. Here he comes, wrapping the bottom side. Burt Wojcik just been making that high side work. There goes Mann. He gets Wojcik put away, up to Griffin. Griffin high side, going to give him room. Mann clears him. Jared Mann up to P4.
Troy, I want to draw your attention to 5 of Derek Grigsby is down in pit road making his stop. So he is one of the first of the leaders to come down pit road here. The 5 of Derek Grigsby trying to be the first one down the pit road, trying to capitalize on that strategy call. We'll keep an eye if we get anybody else down there on pit road.
Derek Grigsby first to pit road. Will he be the first to the checkers? We'll find out. Because right now, the first one that would see the checkers, if it ended right now, which it doesn't, would be the 85 of Jason Baker. And you still see Mickey Sundera in tow. The gap hasn't grown a ton, but it's a little by little. Jason Baker gapping Mickey Sundera, but Mickey can still see him. Now, the cat and mouse strategy game, Michael. They know that Grigsby pitted. They have to be thinking about what is their call, when is their time, what is going to be the right move. They can see each other. Jason can pull a late move, surprise Mickey. Mickey can pull a late move and leave Jason hung out to dry. We're going to see. Looks like Baker's hard on the brakes, not pitting there. I thought he was thinking about it, Michael.
I thought he'd think about it as well. We actually have to ticker down to the bottom to see just how fast Derek Grigsby on this fresher tire is than the leader right here, Jason Baker. So we're going to watch that gap. Obviously, a 16 seconds is a forever, but these guys have not made their stop yet. You see just how fast Derek Grigsby is catching up on time. Starting at 16 seconds right here. Just look how fast it goes in a lap. I mean, it's a huge gap that you're giving up, and the longer you stay out here, I feel like the more you're going to sacrifice towards the end of this race. If it's me, I feel like you got to go to pit road as soon as you saw the 5 go in there. You know you've been racing him all night. You got to go try to hang with him, be close to the first one on pit road because they're just reaping the rewards of you staying out. As you see, almost a whole second put away there within a lap and a half.
We're going to see how this pans out. Now, just to be clear, Grigsby, Friel, Schaefer, Baker, Torrey, all 1 or more laps down. Grigsby just pitted. We saw that. Joshua Baker pitted. Brian Torrey just pitted. So you see Brian Torrey right there, right in front of Baker. That should get him one of his laps back, so he should be 1 lap down. So we're going to see how all these guys play it from here on out. Jason Baker, content staying out there. Mickey Sundera, sliding out of the corner just a little bit there. Push that front end. I think Mickey's going to probably play it off the 85, but I hope he's paying attention to what's going on with the rest of the field because they are going to come fast.
We are, like we talked about, Troy, a lot of those guys who were leaders that pit are still 1 lap down, so they're going to have to go run down the 85 with Jason Baker and get around to get back onto the lead lap, and we think it's only going to get worse for the 85 and the 2 as well. If they stay out here too long, they're going to lose none of those fresh tires unless maybe the guys that are chasing them down end up burning them up, trying to run them down. So it kind of depends on who makes the mistake. Is that whichever group could be the right call. So the 85 and the 2 could be on the right strategy. If the guys behind them burn those tires up trying to run them down, if they take care of them and eventually progress themselves back up to these 2, then they may have made the wrong call And even then, we still might be wrong. We know how we try to call stuff before, and usually it backfires on us. But it's just so many intricacies and so many things that you have to think about and continue to try to keep in your mind of, okay, when at one point do I kind of want to, do you give up on your plan? Do you back out? Do you go make your stop and just say, you know what, I can't see myself holding off those guys or holding up on this time, so I have to go in.
Yeah, it seems so obvious when you're a lap ahead, and yes, you'll gain the benefit of fresh tire speed when you come back out. But what's the gap you gave up right now? It's about minimizing how much you have to make out when you come back out. You go roughly 2 laps down when you pit. As you see Mickey Sandera locking it up hard. Mickey Sandera hits pit road, Michael. Here we go.
We have a few more on here as well. The 26 of Jared Mann, the 93 of Burt Wojcik, and the 12 of Chris Griffin, all on pit road right here. That only leaves 3 cars out there. I lied, 2 more on the pit road. The 49 of Bettini, and we already said the 2 of Mickey Sandera. There's only 1 left on the track, and he has no choice but to come in now. Let's make sure he didn't get a penalty there. I think he got close to the commit cone. 85 with Jason Baker. We're keeping an eye on that. You will get a penalty if you try to come on pit road and miss that commit cone. It will give you an unsafe pit entrance. So we'll keep an eye on that. Make sure he doesn't have to come back down. But that will be everybody in for their officially scheduled stop and service. The 5 of Derek Grigsby, we talked about him. He's going to come around. He should pass the 85 of Jason Baker, who just went down pit road. Let's see how far he is off of the fade. We'll keep an eye on here. You see the 5 right now. P2. Jason Baker just now got rolling off of pit road. You'll see the 5 come blazing by here to turn 1. Let's see if he's able to get him. And he will. And look at how much ahead the 5 is compared to the 85. So the 5 down and away, out on the backstretch. The 85 just now off of pit road. And we talked about it. Grigsby being the first one got the advantage of those fresh tires and made up all the ground that he was behind him.
Now we're going to see, did he time it right? Did he save enough but push enough when he got those fresh tires? You have to make the most out of them, but now the 85 has fresh tires. As we see, Sandera and Baker side by side.
Oh, no!
Baker loose coming out of the corner.
It's going to bring out the caution. Oh, no! Joshua Baker on those Jason Baker, on those cold tires trying to fight Mickey Sandera there, ends up going around.
Well, the only way to make green flag stops more exciting is to have a caution right after them and see where everything shakes out. This is going to help some guys, and this is going to hurt some guys. As you see, hard battle between Sandera and Jason Baker there. Baker, like you said, Michael, cold tires, hard to hang on to. Mickey already had a lap extra heat in those tires, so probably wasn't as loose for him. But wow, what a turn of events right after green flag stops.
Something what a lot of these guys didn't want to end up seeing, but that's what they have to deal with now. But I did hand the lead to the 58 of Joshua Baker there, right there. He is on a little bit of an older set of tires, though. The 2 right behind him, Mickey Sandera and P2. He's on 4-lap-old tires. The 58 here, the leader, on 16-lap-old tires. So about a 12-lap difference between the 2 of them, which late on the run could mean everything. But looking around, I mean, we still have a pretty similar tire strategy with all these leaders up here at the front, around 4, 5, within a lap of each other mostly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out. I see a couple trucks hit pit road. I think Derek Grigsby hit pit road.
He did.
Strategy probably went out the window the second that everybody got collapsed back together. So he says, I'm going to get a set of fresh Goodyear Eagles and try to make a run at this with fresh tires. Dang, Michael, when you play the strategy game and a caution comes out, what could have been a brilliant move, we'll never know if it was or not.
It truly is on what situation you ended up calling. Like we said, did you call the right strategy, and did you plan for that? A lot of these guys maybe didn't plan for that. It can be the most fist pumping, slap the steering wheel, give a holler out moment when you get that break that you needed, where it will gut you like a fish when you have it ripped out and now you're on the wrong side of the strategy call, which we saw a couple of these guys end up having to do. We obviously, a lot of these guys who took that fresh tire advantage, like the 5 of Derek Grigsby, he wanted that. I feel like he thought he had the best spot there. First one to pit road, got the lead, and ends up having a caution fall now to where he's not going to be able to capitalize on it. So he went ahead and said, that's fine. I'm going to go re-rack, put on some sticker tires, and come back out and go see if I can make the spots up the old-fashioned way.
new strategy call, adapt, and still move forward. The good news is there is still going to be 43 laps left when the green flag flies. You can see our small but mighty field, the war of attrition, survive the cautions, be there at the end. To finish first, you must first finish. Right now, Joshua Baker, Mickey Sendera going to lead Dominic Bettini and Jared Mann. Restart zone, green flag flies. We're back underway in the final stage.
Joshua Baker didn't get the jump he needed there. The two of Mickey Sendera is not going to let him get away easy. You see the two right on the outside. He's going to have the run. Let's see a little bit of contact. Oh, a little bit of contact. Leading the 58 around. Turned by the two. Oh, hold on to it. Oh, I think everybody's going to get through clean other than the 58 going for a ride.
I think we're going to have interesting replay here.
You see the 58 here, Joshua Baker knows the two's on better tires. I think he just gets tight, goes ahead and gets up a little bit there, and just doesn't ever get the truck to come back off of the two there. The two really has no choice. He doesn't actually end up dumping him. He just gets put up into the fence, and the 58 almost turns himself there on the nose of the two. There's no more room for the two to kind of give him there. And that gets the 58 around. A great job there of holding onto that truck, keeping it away from the rest of the field. Oh, I was about to say we're going to have an exciting run there for Schaefer, but great job by the 58 able to hold on to that truck, keep it up by the fence and out of everybody's way.
Whew. Let's take a breath there. Chat, I know you guys have been just as excited as we are. Greg Dyer cheering on Thaddeus Free a little bit more. Keep plugging them away one at a time. Keep charging. Looks like Abby's saying bless it, and I think we could blanket that for a lot of scenarios tonight. But the good news is we have a lot of racing left to go. The excitement is not done. But how about this? Dominic Bettini in that 49 truck, Michael, out there pacing the field, been strong all night. I believe, when we look at this, this is probably going to be one of his top runs for the season so far. Granted, we still have 40 laps to go.
Agreed, but I mean, leading laps still gets you points that you need in this chase format. The points format getting you into the playoffs. Excuse me. But no, definitely a great run so far for Dominic Bettini. Leading laps here, that's going to give him a few more points. We've seen him run strong. I think he's gotten some stage points in both stages. So a great run of the 49 that he really needed. So you got to capitalize wherever you can get one. Sometimes you get these tracks for a lot of these guys who are really comfortable at tracks, and maybe a lot of guys maybe aren't, or maybe it's just something they absolutely excel at. I mean, we've seen it. We've talked about it with guys in post-race interviews. Let's quit tripping over my words. Talk with guys in post-race interviews. Maybe there's some tracks that they circle on that calendar. There's some that you're looking forward to going to. Like Darlington is one of the best examples I can give. A lot of people do not like going to Darlington. I'm sure there's some in this field that have it circled that are excited to get there and to capitalize on it. And it may not be a leader. It may be one of these guys who are lower in the standings who is then able to capitalize and make it their day to get everything they can and maximize the day out of it and have a great day.
Having a great day can have a lot of meanings, and sometimes you have to adapt as the race unfolds, and I think that's exactly what we've seen here tonight. And again, great to see all these drivers plucking away one by one. By the way, Jesse Sperling gained a lap back, only 27 laps down. He might want some more cautions. We have enough laps if we just go one by one by one. We'll see what happens. But right now, Dominic Bettini sets the pace as they head into the restart zone. He gets a jump, fires away ahead of Mickey Sendera, Jared Mann. Here we go, Michael. Less than 40 laps to go.
You caught my eye as soon as you said the 26 of Jared Mann right behind these two leaders. He's always hanging around. He never goes away. Dominic Bettini, though, continuing to march on ahead. We'll see him. He's continuing like that higher line. Well, the two of Sendera has been very well on that bottom line, which we think is a tire-efficient line. So we'll see how far Dominic's able to hold off the two. He's got to start trying to maybe get towards the bottom, throw some dirty air on the nose there. Just a little bit too high than what I think he needs to be. We'll see if he's able to capitalize. You see the two able to close a little bit of ground. I think he's got to get dirty air on the nose of the two. You got to get that truck migrated a groove lower. He's just giving clean air to the two, which the two is wanting. He's wanting that low line clean air to give him the ability to rotate that truck and make up ground on him.
A lot of battles happening behind this, but right now we're going to keep it on the lead as we watch Dominic Bettini in front of Mickey Sendera. That time, Bettini maybe blocked off the air. Sendera may have changed up his lineup a little bit. We're going to see. There you go. Bettini a little bit lower. Still running the groove off, but entering just a tad bit lower, Michael. Maybe blocking off a little bit of that air, like you said. Mickey Sendera sizing him up. And how about this? Jason Baker gets around Jared Mann. Jason Baker going to be pushing for the front here. He's going to be putting pressure on the 2 in no time.
We saw the 85 of Jason Baker, I think, was one of the best ones at running the bottom of this racetrack. But yes, you're right. The 49 able to get that truck a little bit lower. That's a lot better right there. Even if you're able to get just a little sliver, a little bit of dirty air on the nose of that truck, and still going to help you as the lead car in any way you can. So you got to get as much as you can right there. That's a perfect block right there. The 2 gets a little high right there. Gets them a little tight. So what you got to do is you got to continue to throw the dirty air. Make the 2 work those tires trying to make up ground on you. You see him just a shade higher there. If he can get, I mean, just another foot, a foot and a half down, that's going to affect how that 2 behaves so much more than where he's at right there. You see he's going to immediately fade to the bottom. The 2 says, that's fine. I'm going to go up high. Goes for the diamond. Let's see if he gets the run to go maybe for the dive here heading to turn 3. Mickey Sendera digging around. Let's see what he finds. There he is. Underneath the 49 here. Dominic Bettini going to try to gas it up on the outside. We're going to have a drag race to the line here. Let's see if the 49 clears them back into turn 1. Not quite. The 2 still there. Continue to dig underneath the 49 here.
Mickey Sendera looking underneath the 49 of Dominic Bettini. He almost had a fender. Here we go. They're going to go off into the corner. Bettini holding that middle groove. He doesn't shut it off. Mickey Sendera roping the bottom side. Bettini going to have the momentum. Sendera has a quarter panel. Bumper not clear. Are they going to be side by side as they head off into the corner? It looks that way. Who's going to win the drag race down to the backstretch?
We've seen Dominic Bettini be battling the 93 of Burt Wojcik all night. Now he's battling for the best spot of all of them. He's battling for P1. It's a whole different battle when you're battling for third versus battling for first. Guys are willing to do a whole lot more to get that last spot, but we've seen him continually be on the high side and fight so well up there. Like I said, he's been doing it all night with the 93 of Burt Wojcik, whether it's on the bottom, whether it's on the top. Dominic Bettini has fought most of this race, while the 2 of Sendera, he has, but not at the rate that we've seen the 49 continually be under attack and trying to push. He's done a great job, better than I thought he was going to be able to do, holding off the 2. The 2 is the preferred lines on the bottom. The 49 has just been doing a great job of taking away some exit and able to hold up momentum on that high side, keeping that 2 underneath him.
These 2 battling side by side is bringing in some more friends into the mix. We already talked about Jason Baker closing in right now, just waiting for his opportunity, looking for a way through. Meanwhile, Thaddeus Friel got around the 26 of Jared Mann, but now Jared Mann starting to close back in on him. And right behind them, who's waiting in the wing? That 5 truck, Derek Grigsby, grabbed those fresh tires, Michael, and now he's worked his way back into this battle. These top 6 are pushing hard. Looks like Sendera has a slight nose on Dominic Bettini. Here we go, 249, 85 in tow. The 2 gets a good run. Here we go, side by side at the line.
Side by side, into turn 1 still. I think it's going to be a common theme towards the end of this race is these 2 side by side. Who's going to bail out first? Is the 49 going to get tight? They have to check it up. Is the 2 going to end up getting tight and have to give the spot to the 49? But they're not done yet as they continue to hang here side by side as we come to 25 laps to go here at the River City 250. Still plenty of time to make a move. You see the 5 of Jared Grigsby looking underneath the 98 of Thaddeus Friel behind this group. And the 49 is going to clear the 2, like we said. So there we go. The 49 Bettini back up to the front. The 2, I don't think he's going to go try back up to the bottom. I think next time when he gets to the 49, he may try to go up on that high side where he kept getting beat there from the 49 Bettini.
You see Grigsby doing lane changes like he's in a hurry. He went from the high side to the low side to get around Mann, then duck underneath Friel, and then back up to the high side to cut off Friel's line. He puts himself in P4. He now has Jason Baker in his sight. Those fresh tires might be paying off. That might have been the right call. The strategy on top of the strategy is Grigsby now looking underneath the 85 of Jason Baker. Grigsby pushing hard. Baker way up high. Grigsby clear.
Grigsby clear. Wait for the crossover. We're going to see that 85. 85, not quite able to get there. Derek Grigsby on 4 lap pressure tires than the leaders and the trucks he's around right now. So even that small advantage, you see it right here. Let's look how much ground he gains on the 2 right there. The 2 going back underneath the 49. We have another battle for the leaders. These go side by side again. We got to be careful though. The 5 is on a hurry to come track him down.
I think Sendera saw Grigsby moving up and said, I have to get around Dominic Bettini right now. I cannot wait because if I get Grigsby underneath me, I'm not going to be able to get my line to go attack the 49. So now, side by side, the best way that they can hold up that 5 truck is side by side. But you see Sundera maybe fighting tight, maybe fighting a little bit loose, can't get the full run off the corner, Michael. The last time that he got tight, Bettini also got loose, so neither one of them were able to gain anything because they both had issues through the corner. Right now, though, single file, Bettini, Sundera, Grigsby closing up tight on the tailgate.
I'm just amazed by how well Dominic Bettini has been able to play defense here at the front of this field. He's performing a masterclass right now, holding off the 2 of Mickey Sundera, who we have saw pass a lot of these leaders up high in the points. The 2 is not an easy job to stall or to hold back there, but the 49 is just absolutely doing everything he can and is doing it perfectly to hold up the 2 underneath him there. Sundera now back underneath the 49. The 49 still holding strong, able to get that run down the backstretch and fight back with what the 2 gains in the corner. And the 5's actually going to side with the 49. Maybe try to give him a push if he's able to. He knows the momentum's up on that higher line. He may try to do a crossover, maybe try to get underneath here. We're going to continue to watch on. Derek Grigsby searching around. The 2 sees him. The 2's going to start pushing hard here. I'm waiting to see Mickey Sundera try to get all the way up. Maybe use a little bit of door on the 49. He knows the 5 is there, and he knows he's on fresher tires. They're both going to be in a hurry.
Gotta be in a hurry, especially Mickey Sundera. He does not have the room to move up behind the 49, so he has to keep pace at this point. Anything he saved, he's got to use. Here we go. Grigsby had a view, didn't take it. Goes from the high side to the low side. He's going to go back to the high side. Right now, Grigsby has the benefit of taking whichever line has the
he got loose!
Grigsby slides into the corner.
Oh, he got it loose. Still got it up. Able to hold on to it. Back to 5. Back on the point. Back to the charge. The 49 and the 2 continue to try to run away from him. Don Bettini is so high. He's got to be careful. Grigsby kind of wants to go 3 wide, but he knows the 49 is going to come swooping back down off that high exit. You see Max starting making up ground past the 2 again. The 49 might be clear out of this corner. Let's see if he clears them down the backstretch here. The 5 of Derek Grigsby still hanging tight there. The 2 not all the way free yet. The 49 now, he's going to put all the dirty air on the nose of the 5. That's going to open up the door for the 2. He's having to block 2 lines. It's like he's at a super speedway trying to control the lines, Troy.
It almost looks like a restart when they come out of the corners. They were almost 2 by 2. Look at these top 5 here. Here we go. Bettini out in front. Grigsby, Sundera giving up room to Grigsby.
Here we go.
Down to the bottom side. New battle for the lead.
The 2, I think, is finally decided. I don't have the tire. I'm going to let Jared Grigsby go try to push Dominic Bettini even further. You see Bettini still able to get such a great run right there at a turn 4. Let's see if the 5's able to use that bottom line. Oh, contact! The 5 moves the 49 up out of the way. Oh, hold on to it. Here we go. Still get tight. The 5 lose the door of the 49. Got him up. That's going to move the 5 up to the first spot. The 49 Bettini may not be happy about that. If he gets back to him, you better be ready to have a little bit of contact between those 2. Look at the run he gets right there. He's not going to be thrilled. The 85 of Jason Baker back to rope in the bottom. Jared Mann now closing on this pack. He's working the bottom now. The 5 of Derek Grigsby's got 2 by 2 behind him. He sees in the mirror. He knows he's got to keep his foot on the throttle. He's got to get away from these guys as this race winds down with 12 to go here at Richmond.
If I'm the 5 truck, the last thing I want to see is that 49 truck behind me because he might owe me one. And you can see Bettini is pushing hard. He is not happy about that. Now, the question is he pushing too hard? You saw him close up on the straightaway, maybe gave up some ground by running too hard on that high side. Now, Grigsby goes up the top. He's going to block the earth. That's going to leave the bottom open for Jason Baker. Grigsby back down. Oh, it's getting tight.
Oh, we got close racing battle. The 5 sees the 49 gaining on him. He's trying to run away. The 49, I think the 49 gets it. I think he's going to put the bumper to the 5, but the 5's got to be careful trying to get away from the 49. Oh, the 49 got tight. The 2 now underneath the 49. The 49's going to be under attack here. 85 of Jason Baker. Now he's going to start putting the pressure on the 5. Let's see if he's able to start making a move. Dominic Bettini back up on that high line. Not clear of the 2. Now clear of the 2. Back into P3. The 49 of Dominic Bettini continuing to fight hard. But there's a different battle for the lead. We have lap traffic up ahead of these guys. The 5 of Derek Grigsby running away, trying to get away from the 85 who's running them down.
Grigsby, Jason Baker, as you see Taylor Locklear hit pit road, this time across the stripe. We should have 10 laps to go. Baker underneath Grigsby now. Here they go, side by side. Baker, he's got the preferred line. Grigsby going to run that high side. Baker going to push hard, does not get the run off the corner. Grigsby with that momentum but Baker's able to hang on to a quarter panel or a bumper as they head off into the corner. Baker's going to push up a little bit. He gets tight, Michael.
Got tied behind the 5. The 5's doing a great job playing defense. Now the 49 of Bettini still hanging there in P3. He's still under attack from the 26 of Jared Mann. Now the 2 behind these guys with 85 trying to regather up that momentum. Jason Baker's trying to mount another charge. He knows he's running out of time. He's got to pick his battles, and he's got to hit at just the right time to catch the 5. The 5 a little loose there at the turn 4. He's trying to get away with everything he's got left in that truck. He's going to hope that he has enough to get away from the 85, who's been so good on that bottom line. You see the 5 right there take up that higher groove. Look how close the 85 is. Look for a dive move coming up here, especially get towards the end of this race. You got to be patient if you're Jason Baker. Don't push yourself in a move to where you have to regather the truck up again. Start setting it up now. You're almost at 5 to go in this race. You're kind of out of time to regather. You're only going to get one more shot at this clean, I think, here for if you're the 85 truck.
You got to time it just right, like you said. Next time by the stripe, they're going to have 6 laps to go. So right now, 6.5 laps to go. But, Michael, if there's one thing I'm sure of, I guarantee you there's going to be at least one more bumper used. There is no way that these top 5, as hard as they've been pushing, can possibly not push just a little bit harder. It's going to be mano y mano, but maybe times 2 or 3. As you see Baker get right to the bumper of Grigsby, he's going to close in again. Is he going to try to make the move early? Or is he going to wait till the last second? He can't wait too long because Dominic Bettini wants one more shot at this, even though he's a ways back. And again, our top 5, Jared Mann in P4 now. Mickey Sundera back there in P5, maybe falling off just a little bit. But right now, Grigsby, Jason Baker, 585, Michael. Here we go.
It is still a battle. You see the 5 last time through this corner got a little over aggressive going in. Saw the 85 closing up to his bumper. Oh, wall contact there from the 85. He's pushing everything he's hard, but he's tight. He's right behind the 5. That's dirty air is all over the front of his nose. The 5 doing a great job of throwing dirty air all over the nose of the 85. Though the 85 still able to close. He's right to the back bumper. I think he's giving him a push down the backstretch here. Wait for the dive move. Doesn't do it. Thinks better of it. Grigsby drives it in deep. That's going to open up the door if the 85 can get to the quarter panel. Not quite. Oh, they got a little loose out of turn 4 there. Wall contact from the 5. We're down to 3 to go. 3 to go. 3 to go. 3 to go. The 5 now under attack for the 85, Troy.
Jason Baker pushing hard. They both wiggle coming out of the corner. Derek Grigsby playing defense. Jason Baker trying to go on offense. And Dominic Bettini saying, hey, take each other out. I'll just collect the win. The top 4 now have pretty well checked away from the rest of the field. Jerry McKinney now up to P5, but he's 4 seconds back of this lead battle with now under 2 laps to go. Grigsby, Jason Baker. Jason Baker gets a run on the high side. Still about a truck length between them as they head into 3 and 4. Michael, this is going to be a barn burner of a last lap. Here they're going to come out of turn 4 to the white flag.
1 lap to go. 4 corners away. Can Derek Grigsby hold on? And will the 85 end up using the bumper? We've seen him close up to the 5 every time. Oh, close there. Contact on the left rear quarter panel. The 85 lost momentum. 2 corners left to go. Derek Grigsby's got to get away. Puts the power down out of 4. And he will hold off every challenger. He will sweep the day. The 5. Derek Grigsby, stage 1, stage 2. And he's going to grab a checkered flag.
Derek Grigsby, first one to pit road, first one to the checkers. Not usually the way it plays out, but the ending still was the same. What a heck of a battle down to the end. Now, I would be remiss as we start to see the 5 come down and do his burnout, because I already saw it in chat. Old money cards already made the call earlier. Stage 1 check, stage 2 check, and the checkered flag incoming. It was a heck of a call. Congratulations to the night's winner at the River City 250, Derek Grigsby. We'll watch him burn it down here for a second. We'll head to a commercial break and come back with your full field rundown and our post-race interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to Richmond. River City 250 in the books. Holy cow, what a finish. Let's go ahead and get our rundown of the finishing order after 250 laps this evening. The winner, the 5 truck of Derek Grigsby, Jason Baker in the 85, bringing home P2. Dominic Bettini with a podium finish in the 49 truck. Jared Mann in the 26, running 4th. Thaddeus Friel in the 98, running 5th. 6th place, the 18 of Jerry McKinney. 7th place, the 2 of Mickey Sundera, fighting there with a little fade at the end. 8th place, the 58 of Joshua Baker. 9th, the 12 of Chris Griffin. And rounding out your top 10, the 93 of Burt Wojcik.
In P11, you find the 74 of Brian Torrey, P12, the 51 of Patrick Schaefer, P13, the 20 of Caleb Sibbett, P14, the 1 of Taylor Locklear, P15, the 29 of Jesse Sperling, P16, the 4 of Brett Vinson, P17, the 9 of Cody Pierce, P18, the 62 of Joey Creech, and rounding out your field, the P19, the 46 of Justin Walters.
That is your official finishing order this evening. And with that, we'll turn our post-race coverage to the podium interviews. First and foremost, we're going to bring in our 3rd place finisher this evening, the 49 truck of Dominic Bettini. Dominic, what a heck of a run. We saw you battling the 93 of Burt Wojcik forever. There at the end, you were able to hold off guys with fresher tires by running the high side. What were you thinking in those final laps?
I was like, is this going to be my night? Because I love Richmond. This is my favorite track in the world, but I just wasn't that good tonight. I'm going to be real with you. I just didn't have it in the long run. And the seas kind of parted for me at the end there. I saw the leaders get into it, and I was like, this might be my shot. But at the end of the day, I got moved up the track. Same guy moved up the track earlier in the race, so I said it wasn't intentional. So it is what it is. And poetic justice a little bit, but I'm happy to run 3rd. I was kind of hoping to get an interview tonight and met that goal. Just a little disappointed we didn't get 2 spots higher.
Well, Dominic, you know, when you say that you didn't have that good of a night and you finish P3, I think the field is lucky that you didn't have a good night. What is it about Richmond that you like so much?
It's so rhythmic, and I just love the short tracks in general, where you can just run lap after lap after lap after lap, and that's what makes this iRacing fun. I think is just being able to do that, and I think there's a specific skill to be good at managing your tires and be fast while doing that. Didn't do it that great tonight. I felt like I was falling off in the long run, but I was also just pushing way too hard. I knew that much, but yeah, it's great. And racing under the lights is beautiful. That sunset was beautiful.
That's awesome. Michael, I know you were really excited to watch what the 49 truck was doing out there. So what do you have for Dominic here this evening?
Yeah, Dominic, obviously, congratulations there on the podium tonight. Obviously, I am also a big fan of Richmond, so always love to come here, especially under the lights. It's a lot of fun, a lot of treachery that you can get here at this track. But, I mean, Troy kind of highlighted, I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper on it. You said obviously you didn't like the long run speed, but we saw you up on that higher groove for, I mean, at least 20 to maybe 25 laps there towards the end of the stage. How tight was that truck when you're trying to hold off the 2 of Sundera and with the 85 of Baker also came there? Just how tight was that truck, or was it kind of manageable being up in that higher groove?
car was, or that truck was horrible the last 15 laps. It was incredibly tight. I don't like a tight race car, so I was really struggling there. Once I got past for first and second, I knew I didn't have anything, so I was just trying to maintain third. But yeah, just the outside, I got trying to get around the 93 for like 40 laps, and I just about had it. I don't know if y'all saw before the caution, but I was trying to move them up the track because I was real tired of it. But I figured out that's how they maintain position, is just hang out on the outside, and tried to do the same thing on that last restart. But I knew I didn't have the best truck, and went for it, didn't have it. But good night overall.
Yes, sir. We were highlighting your battle with Burt Wojcik for most of the race. Like, we kept kind of joking every time we'd get stretched back out. It'd be you two side by side for about another 20 laps. But all in all, congratulations on a great run, sir. Obviously, a good points day for you. We look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to hand over the mic for you, though, if you want to do your shout outs and your sponsor plugs.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank my girlfriend Kenzie. She hopefully she was watching the rest of this race. This is a long one. I'd like to thank my friends Keenan, Justin, Derek, Rodney, who else? Zach. He was watching too. Matthew, my dog. She just came over here. Congratulate me. And who I keep forgetting the sponsors. If you know the sponsors off the top of your head, I'd love to shout them out for you. But just thank you, anyone watching this broadcast too. This one was a lot of fun. Glad y'all. Thank you for sticking around, whoever did.
Well, Dominic, once again, congratulations. Podium finish, favorite track. Look forward to what's to come, but let this one sink in and enjoy it for a bit.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher, the 49 truck of Dominic Bettini. And of course, he's shouting out Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, Vickers Auto Parts, Duna Electric, and Fantasy Sim Racing. So we'll make sure that we get them referenced later on. But now we're going to go ahead and pivot to our runner-up this evening. Our second place finisher, the 85 truck of Jason Baker. Jason, you had one heck of a night. I think you may have passed more trucks than anybody else, given all the action. How would you summarize Richmond after 250 laps?
I will blindly guarantee that you're right, because I went from the back to the front 4 times. So, this honestly, once we got going, it was a good race. We had our little hiccups and stuff like that, but overall, fantastic race for me. I mean, had the penalty at the beginning, had to be patient, work my way through, and there at the end, I mean, I could have been dirty about it or even a little rougher, but I don't like doing that for the win. So, uh, he he beat me with the air and holding that outside line. So there's nothing I could really do besides get dirty with him, and there was no sense in that, especially after, like I said, a penalty drive through, and to still be able to walk out with a P2, I'm cool with it. So
Well, P2, like you said, Jason, and probably most importantly, is a great points night. I know maybe not all the stage accolades that would have been ideal, but walking out with a P2, Jesse Sperling obviously had some issues this evening, finished farther back. Mickey faded there at the end. So, all in all, the end result, not a P1, but a P2, great points night. Looking ahead to the regular season, I'm sure you have to be thankful and happy with how it ended.
absolutely. I mean, coming through the field, you've gotta make your way, and luckily, I was able to just stick it to the bottom the whole time. And once trucks started fading up into that second line, I was able to work them over and set them up for the passes cleanly. And um, it's good race, just a solid race overall. I wish I could have got to the clean air with about 10-15 to go, but the parity in this league is crazy because it can be any one of us each week, and you just got to roll with it. And I didn't want to pull a Jesse from last week, so
So we're calling that pulling a Jesse. Well,
yeah,
speaking of roping the
it's
bottom,
pulling a Jesse.
pulling a Jesse.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
want to do that. I mean, he's a good racer, and I understand what was going through his mind in that moment. But I know he regrets it because I mean he would have had a solid P2.
All right. Well, pulling a Jesse into roping the bottom line, Michael, I think that's a perfect segue because you were noting repeatedly how Jason was roping that bottom line and tracking people down throughout the race.
Absolutely appreciate the alley oop right there. Jason, obviously, congratulations. Obviously, second is not where everybody wants to be. They want to be one spot better, but obviously, like Troy said, a great points day for you. An exciting race, maybe not like so much excitement as you wanted, but kind of piggyback off that,
Yeah.
you were able to hold the bottom so well. Was that something you kind of practiced, or you just noticed that a lot of guys would kind of end up drifting up, and you knew the clean air was closer towards that bottom line?
Well, the thing is that you can be multi-groove here, and with the way that this aero package and tire package is, if you hug the bottom, you're going to be able to save that right front and right rear a little bit better. But because this track allows for that double lane driving, um, you can maintain your momentum with that outside, and it's hard for the guys on the bottom to pass, especially once we get into that 30 plus laps on the tires. So just my key every for all practice and everything along those lines was I need to get my lefts as close to that line and just commit to it. Don't give up and get into that middle lane because then you're starting to mess with the tires even more. And it benefited me, especially you could tell at the beginning of stage 3 once I got the lead. It benefited me because I started being able to gap Mickey before the pit cycle happened. And that's always my mentality is that if I can hit the bottom. And you
I
also have to drive this a little bit like Darlington where you need to drive the track, but because it's quote unquote a short track, you got to be mindful because everybody's right on top of each other at the beginning of the runs also.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously, a great answer for a great race. Obviously, Darlington's coming a little bit further down the pipe here, but we'll save that for maybe we get a little bit closer. But
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
congratulations, sir, on that second place. We're going to hand over the mic for your shout outs and your sponsor plugs.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my brothers for, helping me with practice and everything like that. Duna getting the league put together. Like I said, the parity in this league is insane this season, especially with how many guys, can just win each week. Um, I'd like to thank the sponsors of the series, Jiffy Lube of Camp Hill and Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and then Jesse's grandparents with Vickers Auto Parts. You guys for putting up with us each week and following along with storylines and keeping that broadcast pretty lively.
Well, with that, I think we'll take the accolades. But Jason, you and the rest of the drivers at HPRL put on such a heck of a show. You make the job so easy. So again, congratulations on the P2, and we
Yeah,
look forward to
appreciate
seeing
it.
you next Thursday night.
All right, maybe I'll do it again next week from the back.
All
Later,
right,
guys.
ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher this evening, the 85 of Jason Baker. And with that, we're going to do an old money cards dance for your winner of the River City 250, the 5 truck of Derek Grigsby. Derek, first one to pit road, playing the strategy call, and a caution comes out at probably the worst time. What were you thinking at that moment besides, I'm going to go get tires?
Uh, it feels like it was the worst time, but I honestly, I was kind of excited because I had probably 12 laps on my tires and they were only 2 seconds back. So they were going to run me down easy. And I kind of felt like I'd had enough pace all night that if you gave me 6 or 7 laps fresher tires, I was going to be tough. And just kind of worked in my favor. I don't, wasn't the best timed caution for me, but I took what I had and made it work.
Well, it works out if you're sitting in victory lane. Now, maybe it's not a reward to get to talk to us, but you do get to talk to everybody else out there. Obviously, the 85 of Jason Baker closing in tight on you there the last few laps. Maybe got a bumper to you once, but chose not to drive through you. How tight was that battle the last few laps?
Oh, I mean, he was for certain better than I was, but you get on that high line and it's really hard to get around somebody. And big shout out to him because I got loose coming off two, I think with two or one to go, and didn't drift up to the wall. And he could have drove through me, and it would have been my fault. But he touched me, but kind of let me gather it back up and let me finish. So big shout out to him on that one.
Well, tough driving is always good, but also at a race like this, it's always good to sweep up the field. And Michael, I know you talked about that at the end of the race. Um, Derek sweeping the evening. What do you have for our winner here in Victory Lane?
Yep, Derek, obviously a great run for you tonight, a great points boost for you. You obviously, trying to chase down Jesse Sperling, the leader in the points right now. We saw him have some trouble. The two of Mickey Sandera also faded a little bit towards the end of that run. Kind of just gave me a mindset of, a great momentum boost here. Obviously, a win, a bank, to kind of shoot you up in the standings. You trying to kind of build on this, continue to maybe try to do it again next week. You kind of just continue to try to maybe point your way up to these standings.
I mean, I think over my last four races now, it was like a first, second, sixth, and first. So it definitely feels like I'm catching a little bit of momentum that I'm trying to keep rolling on. You mentioned the sweep tonight. I've never done that before. So in honor of Kyle Busch, we're gonna call that a DFG night. But yeah, definitely just trying to ride the momentum. We're coming up on playoffs, and start of the season, I just wanted to make the playoffs, and now kind of putting myself in a spot where, maybe need to put in a little extra practice time because we may have a shot at this thing when it's all said and done.
Yes, sir. Obviously, it's a good thing to make work for yourself. I do have one more question though. So we saw obviously you kind of had two lines that you were ultimately able to use here at Richmond, mostly depending on kind of where the clean air was. But do you prefer being on the higher line, maybe up towards that dotted line, or do you prefer to have those left sides on that yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack?
Out there by myself, I preferred to be on the bottom, but I think early in the race, I raced Jesse Sperling a little bit, and he had run me down, and he was for sure faster, and kind of ventured up to that high line. And I realized then when it comes down to the end of the race, if I got a shot at it, I want that high line. So preferred the bottom by myself, but if in traffic, trying to hold somebody off that high line was the way to go.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously, I'm a big fan. I forgot to mention, I'm a big fan of the Jolly Roger paint scheme. Look good out there in the five. We're going to hand over the mic for your shout outs and your sponsor plug, sir.
Yeah, I want to first off hit the league. Everybody here at High Performance puts it together. You guys on the broadcast booth at Veteran Affiliated Networks. Our league sponsors, Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and Vickers Auto Parts. And then my personal sponsors, Old Money Cards. He's always a big supporter. Appreciate him. Uh, Vision Racing Ministries, big part of their program. I'm proud of them. Hopefully they enjoyed tonight. And then shout out to the Jolly Rogers on here. They're stationed less than 100 miles from Richmond, and so wanted to give them a shout out. Our military right now is very active, and so shout out to them. And yeah, God bless the United States of America.
Very well said, Derek. And I just want to point out you are only the second repeat winner this season. So congratulations on the win. A little bit of action to come next week that we'll talk about here in a minute. But look forward to seeing you next Thursday. But enjoy the next week and being the latest winner of the HPRL Truck Series.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner this evening, the 5 truck of Derek Grigsby. Whew, Michael, how about that? 250 laps. You know, like like Derek said, like such a good parity in the league. 8 races, 6 different winners. Derek, the latest repeat winner, Mickey Sandera, the other one. What great talent. But, we can't do it without the sponsors, and you heard them all mention it, and you see it on your screen right now. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, is proud to support grassroots racing and the sim racing community. We provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep our customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventative maintenance and vehicle care, we're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. We're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. And speaking of leaving worry behind, we will leave one more track on our schedule behind, Michael. That means we're going to move on to New Hampshire and 175 laps at New Hampshire. Richmond may have just been a little bit of an appetizer.
Well, speaking of appetizers, I do hope that you enjoyed Loudon Lobster for the winner of next week as we head to the Magic Mile of New Hampshire. No, absolutely. We saw a lot of chaos here at Richmond. We talked about it, getting loose off those corners, a lot of trouble from these guys. Well, you're going from having really a decent amount of banking at a short track to a very flat track in New Hampshire. It is very tricky. I expect these trucks to be super duper duper tight when we head there just because there's no banking to kind of counteract if you over push into those corners. You're simply cooking off those tires. So I think we're going to have a lot more tight racing and maybe a lot more of those guys maybe trying to drive into the corners, maybe have a little bit of chaos coming on the guy outside of them.
Chaos seems to be the fun that we like to have. And before we move on, I just want to call out, I know there's been some activity in the chat since the end of the race. Greg Dyer calling out a great race in Thaddeus's top 5. Thank you, Greg, for tuning in for the race. Lisa, Jesse's misfortune, but sticking it out, very important in that points battle. Agreed. Great that he got back out there and was able to gain a few more spots. And Old Money Cards, awesome race and broadcast tonight. Thank you for checking in. I'm sure it's always easier when your favorite driver ends on top. And speaking of favorite drivers, we're only a few weeks away, Michael, from the all exciting All Star race, which means you have a chance to help your favorite driver get paid. Reminder, all this will be coming up at the All Star race. We'll give you, again, some more details about how to do everything in case you need help. But most importantly, that QR code is going to take you to Fantasy Sim Racing, the sponsor of the All Star race for the Season 6 HPRL Truck Series. Set your lineup for that race, whoever you put in your number one spot. And if you win the night at, I was going to say Charlotte, that's a different track, at Atlanta for the All Star race, if your lineup wins, whoever you have in that number one slot will win $50. So it does not matter where they finish, so long as they're actually participating. If your lineup wins, they win. So get used to it. You can play every single week. Lineups do lock shortly after the start of the session, so you do have to get out there in advance. We may extend that a little bit for the All-Star race. More details to come on that. But get familiar with that. But most importantly, leading up to the All-Star race, the lineups will be open August 31st, and you'll be able to do that right up to the start of the race. So you have a say in who wins potentially. So again, very exciting. We'll show you some more screenshots of how to do that in case you aren't familiar. But get involved. It's free to do. Just an email address, sign up. You will not get bombarded with any advertisements, I promise you. It's just for this event. But with that, Michael, we're going to put a wrap on tonight at Richmond. Any closing thoughts before we say goodnight to everybody?
We saw a bunch of chaos there at the beginning of this race. We actually saw Caleb said we talked to him at the start of this race. The now 20 was 43. We saw him try to change the number to bring out some of that smoke mentality. Got in a little bit of chaos. We know he's fast. Maybe he'll have a little bit more going into next week. But I also want to highlight we had a lot of cautions there in that first stage. Do any of the feelings transfer over to New Hampshire? And that's definitely what we'll be highlighting as we head over to Loudon.
Yeah, speaking of Caleb Sibbett, I was able to gather some intel in the background during post-race production. Sounds like our leader may have caught a truck coming out of the pits, and that is what took Caleb Sibbett down pit road for that fast repair. So we obviously did not see that live as we were looking at what was going on during the caution, but Caleb Sibbett made a new friend in the background. So we'll see if that carries over to New Hampshire. It will definitely be interesting. Also, for those that are wondering what happened to Jesse Sperling, we said he was having some technical issues. That does look to be the case. He said that there was something going on with his steering wheel and everything just locked up. So technical difficulties, like you said. So just trying to put some closure to some of those storylines. And a fascinating night here at Richmond. Cautions early, like you said, Michael. Excitement, tension, strategy. And then we got some green flag runs. But nonetheless, the 5 of Derek Grigsby walks out with the victory here after 250 laps. Or Emil Duna and everybody at the HPRL Truck Series, for Michael, myself, and everybody at Veterans and Affiliated Networking. We appreciate you guys tuning in each and every Thursday night. Share the link out. Tell your friends. We love it. The more people we can interact with, the better. And obviously, the racing is fantastic. The talent is off the charts. Until next Thursday night at New Hampshire and hunting down a lobster. I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe week. And with that, remember, keep it between the lines.